the dial, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score, raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Broadcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the special edition, Friday night, the 13th be it, special edition of the CanesWear podcast. I'm excited to be here with my special superstar host, Gio, and we're going to be here for about an hour and a half, maybe two, answering some questions on recruiting or anything you want Canes sports, from football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Well, if you have any Panther questions, we'll be happy to take them too. Was at the Panther game last night, Gio, with my son Garrett and my buddy Ken, and Panthers were, for anyone that's a fan, were up 3-0, dominating in the first period like nothing else. It looked like they were unbeatable with 18 shots, and they went ahead and next period it was exact opposite. Game went to overtime, and the Panthers lost. It's now 2-2. They are, as most people know, the defending Stanley Cup champions, and hopefully going to be able to do it 2 years in a row. But like a prize heavyweight battle, it's two heavyweights just banging, and it's exciting to see. And since this is the CanesWear podcast, we do follow. It's sponsored by CanesWear. We carry all the teams, Gio. I got my Marshawn shirt on, my Panther cap. We've got all the Panther items, but of course we've got Canes items, Dolphin items, we even got some Marlin items and Heat and Inter Miami and Messi. So remember, CanesWear, the spot, South Florida sports fan shop. At 2655 South University Drive. So any questions, bring it. We'll pick someone at the end of the show for a $25 gift card. If you've won one in the past and you haven't received it, please let us know. And with that, without any further ado, I welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Gio. How are we doing, Gio?
Doing good. Was on hiatus for about a week. Had some personal things going on, but we're good now. Everything all set and in order. Been a busy past week, actually. So Miami was in the Super Regional. They went to the 3 games at Louisville, lost 3-2, was right on the cusp of making a College World Series again for the first time in a very long time. Tough season and ending, but Canes are doing very well in the transfer portal on that front. They're also working on trying to keep a few guys away from the MLB draft, so we'll see how that all goes. Mm-hmm. And funny thing you mentioned about the Panthers, actually, I was talking to a buddy that lives right there by the arena. The arena is about like 15, 20 minutes out from me, but I got a buddy that lives right there. He said the parking for the last Panthers game, people were parking inside of the Sawgrass Mills Mall just to get into the game, that there wasn't enough parking at the arena. That's incredible. That's tremendous fan support.
Well, the fan support is amazing, and people do park there sometimes to avoid the fee, and it's a little bit of a walk. Sometimes they crack down on the Sawgrass, but I parked in the stadium. It took a long time to get out, and I said to my son, we should have parked, even though we had a ticket, we should have parked in Sawgrass. It took a while there. So, but you're right. It is the outpouring, the excitement, the energy for the Panthers has been awesome. South Florida has never been a hockey town, but like anything else, when you win, they come. And we've always had fans. We've had regular fans. But the Panthers actually, Gio, went 26 years without winning a playoff game. They went to the finals in one of their first years, and then they didn't win another playoff game for 26 years. And now they come back, and they're playing as well as anybody. So
that was 1996 against the Avalanche, right?
Correct. 96 against the Avalanche, and they got swept 4-0, and it went downhill from there. And we know in South Florida, some other teams that haven't won in a long time either. One being our Canes, who last won in 2001 in football and in baseball. And they obviously the Dolphins as well. If you're a Dolphin fan, it's been forever. But right now, exciting time for the Panthers. Hopefully, the Canes baseball, very exciting, because we talked about it on the show, how it's like we were down at first. Everyone fired JD. What a bad hire. Fired JD. Then they won 9 out of 10 or so, I think it was. And then we went back down to losing 7 out of 8. And nobody knew what to expect. Amazing miracle to me that they even got into the tournament, in the regional. And then to do what they did was phenomenal. And you have to be excited as a Canes fan for next year's baseball season.
Oh, 100%. And look, I know there were still some fans out there saying that, oh, JD's got to go or this or that or whatever. I think we shared it on this last show, actually, before they were in that super regional against the Cardinals, that, Miami's view on it, even before the postseason stuff, he was coming back another year regardless.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's just their view on it. They felt that, it was a lot of roster turnover coming into the year. They had a ton of transfers coming in, new faces, not many returnees. It was basically a brand new team. I think it's just an impressive job in itself what he did, considering that the Canes were right there near dead last or second to last.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, when was that? That was around like March, April, around that time. And those last few weeks of the season, they really started catching fire. Yeah, they lost a couple of their last games of the regular season, but then they picked it up right in the postseason as well. So I think it was an overall very solid season, considering what the circumstances were. And I'm sure everyone, the hope and the optimism is that they continue building on from that moving forward. But yeah, and tough game for the Panthers too the other night. Just like you said, being up 3-0. I was watching the game. I was like, man, they're up 3-0. Oh, we got this in the bag.
We got this.
Like, we got this. And
it felt so good. My son said, Dad, we were up 3-0. How are we? I said, that's why the game isn't 20 minutes. That's why they play 60 minutes. It's about adjustments. You make adjustments. And that's the great thing about hockey. There's not just one halftime. There's basically 2 20-minute periods. So Edmonton made adjustments, and if anyone watched in overtime, I was sure the Panthers won in overtime. Looked like the goal went in. I'm hugging people, everyone's high fiving, and then we're like, "What the heck's going on?" It wasn't to the Miami Ohio State game because it wasn't the last play, but here we thought that the game was over, and it wasn't. So it was bad enough to walk out of that stadium, and then I think about, okay, how was it to walk out of that stadium in the Fiesta Bowl in Arizona when the Canes dropped that one and then fly home. So it was tough last night for the Panthers, that's for sure, but it is 2-2 and it's not over. So let's say hello to some of our questionnaires and commenters. Thank you for joining the show. Jacoby is a regular. We appreciate you, Jacoby. Go Canes. Jake, woot woot, GOB, what's up, guys? We're doing great. Glad to have you guys on a Friday night and an hour earlier time. Jake, Gio, did you bring your shovel? All right. Chi-Town Kane, welcome to the show. Is Miami still after Ashari Charles?
Yes, they are, for the 4-star defensive end, a.k.a. pass rusher out of Venice, Florida. Miami, LSU, couple of programs in that mix there. But the Hurricanes have been out in front. I've actually had a pick in for Miami dating back to February for Ashari Charles. I like where Miami's tracking there. They'll get him on campus next weekend. He's not in with a group of visitors this weekend, but he will make it in next weekend. And the ticker is pointing up there. Miami's doing very well in that recruitment. They've kind of been setting the pace for some time now. I know Texas A&M is another program that's expressed some interest, a couple other SEC programs, but it's mainly Miami that has been setting the pace.
That's awesome news. Matthew G., the Panthers went from not winning a playoff game in my lifetime to going to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. That is pretty special. So if someone was born, let's just say in 1997, they never saw the Panthers win a playoff game. Pretty amazing. And now 3 straight finals, Matthew, you're correct. So it's pretty good because you're growing up. It's hard to be a fan of a team that you're never winning. You're a fan of the Canes. You've seen championships. These Dolphins, they were excited about Dan Marino. I know my kids have never barely seen a Dolphin playoff win. Even my manager Jeff, who's 42, has never seen the Dolphins in an AFC Championship game. So my kids, if you're late 20s, early 30s, you basically don't remember them ever winning a playoff game. So thank you for that question, Matthew. Appreciate you joining the show. Blue, Miami should be playing in Omaha right now. Well, no doubt they should, but they're not. And they gave it all. They gave everything they had. I know people were upset at JD, but to do what he did with a brand new team, his first time ever coaching, it was phenomenal. I mean, JD was – I I thought he should not be here, but you know what? He deserves to be back next year, and I think the team is very excited that he's going to come back, and I'm pumped. And we've got number one baseball fan himself, the high school legend himself, Mando, is in the house.
Did you say high school? What's up, guys?
Like that Miami Mando, very strong. Miami, just right at you.
Yeah, I gotta say hello this evening to Brett, Gio, and Gio's mustache.
Everyone's been commenting on the mustache because I shaved the beard and then I just left the mustache. But
I knew there was something different. I knew there was something different. I couldn't point it out. And I'm looking at Gio. I said, Gio, before this, I said, you're looking really good. That mustache is him.
I thought it was Bobby Valentine in disguise in the dugout again or something.
Yeah, Bobby Valentine. There you go. New York
What's
Mets.
up? How you guys doing?
Outstanding, Mando. Glad we can be here on a Friday night, and you got some special guests today, right?
Yeah. I caught the last few minutes of you guys before I jumped on. As the kids are out of school, so they've been driving the wife crazy. So you may hear or see them
It's Playland.
making noise.
Bring your kids to the show. This is a kid-friendly show, except for when it's not.
But I heard you guys talking Panthers. 3-0 after one. I didn't look at the odds live or anything like that, but that's stunning. Wow, that's huge.
That's the most dominating period I can recall. 18 shots. We outshot them 18-6. It could have been 7-0. And then in the first 10 minutes of the second period, we give them 2 power plays. They score. It's 3-1. You're like, we're still up 2. Then they make it 3-2 immediately, and I'm like, uh-oh, we got a problem. So yeah, but it's 4 games, 3 overtime games. It smells like 7 games right now, is what it looks like. So we'll see what happens.
So Mando, I actually want to bring up this question because I know you watch the baseball program religiously, and Blue here from YouTube shares Miami should be playing in Omaha right now. I actually disagree because you and me have been kind of on the same page about this. I think this team this past season, they played above their heads, of talent aspect wise. Yeah, there was some talent on the team, but not like the cupboard's stacked right now.
Right.
And you and me have kind of been on this subject that Miami has to get even better talent in the program. That you look at some of these other programs around the country or even the SEC teams, and you're like, man, we don't have that many power hitters.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm actually going to put it back on. I was watching the 4th inning, Oregon State and Louisville. And again, you look at the lineup cards, you see guys batting 7th with 15 jacks.
Yeah.
Where we have Cuvée, and that's it. You don't see power like that. I fully agree. We overachieved again, not to be repetitive. 30, 40 days ago, if somebody would have said we'd be 1 inning from Omaha, I think you're crazy. But
yeah,
you already see in the portal they picked up, I believe, the best hitter from FIU.
Yes,
they just picked up, as you know, from the chat and everything, the best, one of the best prospects from he's a local kid, a Palm Beach kid, but he was playing out of state. Shortstop, I think. Shortstop.
Griffin Hughes' his friend, right?
There you go. Yeah, he's going to be supposedly Ogden's replacement. So, yeah, they're just I know we had guys leave already. Renzo left. The pitcher Cleveland left. So there's going to be turnover. But, yeah, overall, were we good enough to win it all? I didn't think so. Not by look. I fully agree with you. Absolutely.
I think it would have been magical if they made it to the World Series. It's like, man, what are the probabilities that this made it there? But like you said, Mando, it basically an inning away.
Crazy.
Yeah, there was that tough moment when they had a chance to actually go up. I think what one was that? That was the 7th inning, or it was the 6th or the 7th inning. We had the opportunity to get a whole bunch of runs there, and it didn't materialize. But at the end of the day, I think it was just a tremendous accomplishment how far they actually got, considering how the entire season played out and where they were 2 months before the postseason, because they were near dead last in the AC.
Yeah, as you know, I mean, the Fire JD squadron was in full
Mhm.
force even weeks before that, and
I
that
overheard some
yeah.
banner planes were being talked about.
Mm.
Oh, damn, they were going that far.
I mean,
Jeez.
that far,
Like,
that fast
like,
on a
like
first
Butch
year,
Davis, Al
coach.
Golden type of levels. I was
Yeah,
hearing.
that took a while for a golden, but they hadn't been to the Super Regionals, what, 2016?
Yeah, that was the
And
last.
and when they got blown out by Louisville the first game, I mean, how many people thought there's no way they're going to win a game? We're just walking home like we've done in the World Series a few times. I mean, I thought we're done in two when they lost that game like that, and they fought and won that game, and then had every
Mhm.
chance to win Game 3. So, like Blue says, we should be there. Sure, we should be, but Louisville is there, and we have nothing to hang our heads on. And is it?
Yeah.
If we would have lost going to Omaha, it would have been awesome. If let's just say we never know, we could have won it. But if we would have lost in 2 or 3 games, people would have been upset at that. Let's face it, people aren't happy unless you win it all. But to be in the super regional for the first time in a long time, it was special.
Yeah,
and to win a
absolutely.
game and have a
No
chance.
question. No question about that.
And look at the positive things.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll ask I'll turn around and ask Gio. The new what was it? The court ruling last week. How is that going to affect baseball?
Well, I've heard at least for baseball, because everyone's asked about like, oh, it's going to automatically jump up to 34 scholarships for the baseball program with the new rules and whatnot. I heard it's going to be more so progressively year over year that it'll increase.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, next year the number is going to be like 22 or 23 scholarships for the baseball program, which in itself I think is going to be phenomenal. And really
what was it this year?
It was still the 11.5.
Yeah.
Wow! So we're going to double our scholarships.
Yep.
Now, what about the people that aren't? How many kids are on the roster?
Oh well, they'll be close to. I know right now they had a little over 30 actually.
Okay. So if it's 22 are on scholarship, do the other 8 have to pay the full way? Considering it's Miami, or is it a different?
I'm sure Miami will take the stance where, depending on which and what players, they'll probably split those scholarships up like they already did before when it was just the regular 11.5 that they split amongst players and whatnot. And some players' families were paying some of the tuition, and then they had some scholarship money and whatnot. I think this helps alleviate some things for them, but I don't think it's complete problem solver just yet. I think not, at least not until they get up to that actual limit. And man, it would be great though if Miami had an endowment program like Vanderbilt baseball.
But 22, doubling our scholarship, 22, when you realize the players don't have to go both ways, like in football where they're playing offense and defense. I mean, you've got your starters, then you've got your backups, but that's going to be the best opportunity we have to compete with everybody else with the private school. The private school, obviously, tuition was triple, 10 times the amount of Florida plus of the public schools. Plus, now with the Bright Futures, those kids didn't even have to pay.
Yeah, Oregon State's up 2-0 on Louisville right now in the bottom of the 5th.
All right.
So good game.
We're rooting for Louisville to win it all, so we can go and we say we lost to the.
Well, the team that's looking good, they won earlier today, is Coastal Carolina. They got like 3 of the best pitchers in America in their staff.
They came out of nowhere when they won it, and it's like I never heard of Coastal Carolina until they won our regional a few years ago.
But they've been consistently good for
they have been.
4 or 5 years now. Like a good program there.
Blue asked about do you? I think we could just answer that. Do you have any intel on any Canes baseball transfer portal?
In terms of other additions, no. That I'll be honest with everyone on this. In terms of like Canes baseball transfer portal, the transfer portal for baseball, it's much harder to come across like hearing things. Every now and then I'll hear something. Like the FIU guy that they got, I was hearing something about that a couple of days before that happened. But for the most part, like I don't get a lot of the same rumblings with the same frequency like the football or basketball programs as it is with the baseball program. I don't know if that's by design or whatnot. I'm sure Mando can attest to it too. Like the flow of information is not the same as the football and basketball program with the baseball program.
No, it's not even close. And I think to Brett's question a few moments ago, I don't know if I've shared the story on here, but I've told quite a few people. Baseball, especially UM, is very costly. Like I don't think they get not very many people get full scholarships. I remember a couple years back, I actually worked with him. I haven't talked to him in a while. His son was the all-day shortstop, maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, down at a school down in South Dade or somewhere down there. His dad's like a UM fanatic, and he went. UM didn't offer enough. He visited Tallahassee. He ended up going to Florida Gulf Coast before he blew his knee out. But he told me himself, like, brother, I can't afford UM. You know me, I live and die UM, but there's no way I can send my kid there. You know, so.
We gave half scholarships. I think even some kids got quarter scholarships, but a lot of kids came out of private schools where there was a heavy tuition anyway. But now we'll be able to compete. 22 is a phenomenal number. Very exciting for the future of the team. No excuses.
It'll only continue increasing too.
So no excuses. Jake, I learned my lesson about the. Thanks for joining the show, Jake. Learned my lesson about the Finns back in '84. Yes, we all did.
Oh.
And that was Dan Marino's record-breaking year, 5,000 yards, 48 touchdowns. I was at that Cowboy game through the last 3 of the season. Phenomenal year, and he unfortunately, Dan Marino never got back to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm old enough that I remember the Dolphins Super Bowls winning, not just being in them. And I remember in 1973. I was younger, or 74, when the Dolphins lost the Sea of Hands game to the Oakland Raiders, and it was the last play of the game. And we had already been to 3 Super Bowls in a row, and we would have won the game if it wasn't for that miracle pass by him. And then played the Steelers to see who would go to the Super Bowl. But I remember slamming my door 3 times, my front door of my apartment building. Mom said, "Don't worry, honey, they'll be back next year. They'll win it next year." Well, that was 1974, and they haven't won it since.
No, it's just like us last year. You got to take advantage because, like, I remember I was like 7, 8 years old back then. But when Marino lost to Montana in that Super Bowl, everybody thought that they'd be going to like 3, 4, 5 Super Bowls, and Marino never even tasted it again. So, and regardless of the sport, college football, whatever, you got to take advantage whenever you can.
Exactly.
Of any opportunity.
I mean, for example, the Panthers, 3rd time in a row. But you know what? I said, should I go to the game, spend money? People say, I mean, just if you want to go to the game, go. You never know if you'll have this opportunity again.
No,
I mean, it's not so easy to get to the finals, and especially it's definitely even harder to win. When you think about it, it's one team does it. It's rare that you get teams like, you get the Patriots and other teams that have multiple runs. But I'm sure those Patriot fans were very bored. Alabama fans, they're probably just bored every year of winning, right? Just like we were as Canes fans. Chi-Town Kane, who would you guys take if you only could pick one? James Johnson or Lamar Brown?
So he's talking about 2 5-star defensive tackles that Miami's after this year. James Johnson's from Miami Northwestern, just came over from North Fort Myers over the offseason. So he spent a lot of time around the program this offseason, more than any other program that he's been around. He's wrapped up his visit to Georgia, wrapped up his visit to Miami. He's visiting Florida. Mostly a Miami and Georgia battle. I'm keeping an eye on what happens with Florida this weekend with him. I know they're going to try to make a move there. Miami feels really good about that situation with him coming out of last weekend. Not ready to put a projection or anything like that in there yet, but they feel good about the situation there. Now, when it comes to Lamar Brown, a lot of different programs in the mix. Miami got his first visit. You also have LSU, Texas A&M, Texas squeezing right into the mix as well. Very heavy NIL-led recruitment there too. If I had to pick one of the two, I would say Lamar Brown because he could play both sides of the ball. Like he could literally be a big-time offensive lineman prospect or defensive line. He wants to be a defensive tackle at the next level, and most programs are recruiting him as that because that's what he wants. But I think just his versatility is incredible. But in terms of like what I see as like realistic for Miami, I'm not saying that they can't get Lamar Brown. I don't want to hedge bets here or whatever. They're still kind of battling back and forth with some schools there. But I think a more realistic guy would be James Johnson because of the proximity to Miami, how much he's visited the campus, and just where things are trending there for summer.
So what are the odds you think they're going to get one? And is there any?
I think the likelihood is that they'll split on that. They'll get one of those two guys. I think that's how that'll split there. I would be very hard pressed to see them actually getting both of those guys in the class.
Okay, well that's good. So Gio's got us down for one. All right, we're not going to hold them to it, of course. Lou, a good question here, because that's a topic we can discuss for a moment. Irvin Young is taking over for Aaron Feld. What do we think about Aaron Feld? Now, at the beginning when he got here, he was like all over social media. He was doing all these contests, crazy commenting and everything. Then he got quieter and quieter.
Fill the sleeves. Fill the sleeves.
Yes, fill the sleeves. He got quieter and quieter, and now it seems like his comment was he needs to spend more time with his family, and it seemed like his coach Cristobal is not going for that. What's the backstory on that, and who's Irvin Young?
Look, what I've heard about the whole Feld situation and whatnot, there was some time that he had spent away from the team at a certain point last year. Also, the other aspect that I think people need to understand, it takes a certain type of mentality to work on the same staff with Mario Cristobal. He expects and demands a lot from his guys. So you have to be mentally, in a way, you have to be kind of prepared for that, working within that program. And it works for him and it works for his staff and whatnot. But again, it's not like things ended on bad terms or whatever. Just both sides agreed to move on. Irvin Young, on the other hand, he's been an assistant for Coach Feld for some years now. He actually just came back to Miami this offseason. Before he got his promotion just now, he came back as an assistant. He spent a year with, what was the program? He was with Tennessee last year, who was a college football playoff program last season. And then even before that, spent about 3 years in Miami. And before that was actually with the Missouri Tigers. And Missouri's had quite some success in the SEC over, give or take, the last 7 or 8 years. So definitely been involved with some serious programs, winning programs that have won meaningful games. We'll have to see how everything goes from here. I was hearing some conversations that they were looking at another guy from an SEC program. I guess that didn't really materialize. Kind of tough to get something like that done too. When you really analyze the whole situation, you're talking about we're in June right now, almost middle of June. And camp is going to open up at the end of July.
Wow.
Before, like all the preparation for Notre Dame and whatnot, you're looking at like July 30th, July 31st to open up camp. So it's not much time in between. I know Mario Cristobal is a very thorough process when it comes to hiring staffers, or whether it's support staff, recruiting interns, or just GMs that they've added to the program and whatnot. Everything is a very thorough process. And I think at this time of the year, it's kind of hard to go out and get like a top flight guy. Now, what's the good thing about it is nothing changes too much. It's a lot of very same regimen. Irvin Young has been working under Feld for quite some time now. He's worked for some serious programs as well. So I guess the good thing about it is familiarity. I know some people are like, oh, well, he's never been a head guy before. I get it. I understand where people come from with that. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right. So got anything to add on that, Mando?
No, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he Feld have a newborn recently, or
yes,
right? I mean, we all know the hours. I mean, this is just pure speculation. I don't know what happened, but I'm just guessing that must not have been easy. I mean, we all know football coaches, 16, 20 hours. That's a day. It's tough. Something must have gone down behind the scenes.
Exactly. I mean, there's I don't know. And most people have kids. A lot of them have wives also, or significant others. And that person could say, you're going to be working how many hours now? It may not even been his decision all the way. It's like, there's people that they could say, hey, we need to buckle down a little bit here and spend some more time with the baby. I'm not saying that's the case, but you're right. It's something behind the scenes. He may have wanted to stay. It could be that, he wants to work 24 hours a day, but he's asked nicely not to. Anyway, good take on that one. Let's see. Philly Kane, order received my first purchase from CanesWear, a CanesWear jersey for my son. Awesome to hear, Philly Kane. Thanks for joining the CanesWear team. I remember when Mando first came into the store and he said, hey, I just got referred. My buddy Ricky told me about your store.
Yeah.
And I think I need to come by and see you. I need to come by and see you. So I remember I had to clear the plans, tell everybody we have a special celebrity, Mando. He wasn't even well known then. He wasn't famous like you are now. but you still definitely had your following.
Not many know Ricky. Ricky's a great guy.
Ricky's amazing.
He's not on X or anything like that. He's very behind the scenes, low key. He's got like a personal record. He's been to like 100 something in a row, like away games of football.
Exactly.
Oh no, yeah, the guy.
Like 130, I think now.
That's dedication.
I've known him for years. Like if you tell him right now, Virginia Tech, he'll tell you the best restaurant, exactly how many miles, what turn, where it is. Like it's crazy. Like he's every year he'll go to every away game, every home game. All of it. He's got a crazy streak of something like 100 something games in a row.
Great move when you go out and tailgate with him. I was at
good guy. Good guy.
I saw him in Orlando. I saw him in Gainesville, and it's like he's just always happy as can be. Always the drink in the hand, and always part of that great Canes United group as well.
Yeah, good guy.
And thanks
Mando,
again.
Mando, when you said Ricky, I was thinking like crazy Canes fan Ricky that's on Twitter. You know who I'm talking about? You in Miami?
Oh no.
That's the Ricky I was thinking. I'm like, oh my God, that Ricky. No, that Ricky, the stories with him are hilarious. Like,
dude,
he's really made rival fans like angry.
No, what I knew that he was, well, I hope he's not watching or listening right now. But we went talking about years ago. And remember they played Clemson?
Yeah.
In the ACC championship. We were at University near the store. We were at
it was in the Carolinas.
That was
which restaurant was it?
Twin Peaks.
Was it okay? There you go. And as you know, Clemson literally obliterates us. And I don't know if it was the third quarter, fourth quarter. This man grabs his cell phone, and I'm talking about that thing. It was like LeBron with the powder. Like this whole went like in 15 different places. Like, yeah, Ricky's diehard. Ricky's like, but no, I wasn't talking about it.
No, I remember when because all right, so sometimes players on other teams they'll try to heckle fans, but Ricky loves that type of stuff. So he was going back and forth with players, and I guess at some point he got like suspended from Hard Rock for like a year or two because of what he was saying to the other teams. You could only, I won't say what it was, but you could only imagine what he was saying.
I will say sometimes fans go a little bit too far sometimes. Football, it's okay a little bit because you're out there. When it's on a basketball or something like that, but you're right. When you got thrown out of the stadium because something you're saying, that's like, wow. That's pretty scary. Let's say who's that? Melman Management. Is that what I got there?
M Lemon Management. Do you think we could take?
I'm like one of those guys that just reads half the thing. Like,
you think we could take and keep the momentum with Calvin Russell on his visit this weekend? I think this weekend's very big for Miami. I know they're all hands on deck approach in terms of like rolling out the red carpet for him this weekend, making sure that he feels welcome and comfortable there. Obviously, I'm sure everyone would love for Miami to sign him because he's a legacy guy. His mom is literally women's Hall of Fame basketball player at the University of Miami, Shanivia Broussard. Again, you're battling with the likes of Syracuse in the mix there, LSU, Oregon. Why do I feel like I might be forgetting a program? I know North Carolina and Florida State are also in the mix there. Just the biggest thing is, what is the feedback coming out of this weekend? Because a lot of the feedback has been.
Sorry, Mando.
They're my daughter decided to make an appearance.
A lot of the feedback has been back and forth between, Fran Brown and Syracuse feel well. Miami gaining momentum after they offered him a scholarship in basketball. Jay Lucas had extended that offer in the past month. I still think it's too early to say right now. I know his decision's coming up July 5th, my birthday actually, so I'll be very busy that day.
Right.
But
Birthday.
Oh, thank you. Early birthday. But yeah, I just think it's still a little too early and premature to say exactly where Calvin Russell's going to go.
All right. So that's so Blackwater then. Thanks for joining the show, Blackwater also. does Calvin Russell commit this weekend? So you're thinking he's not going to commit this weekend?
No, he's going to stick with his timeline.
Let me tell you
I'd be
a secret.
surprised if he can
Just kidding.
before that.
All right, so we don't expect him, but let's hope we do get him. Did he commit to? Who was the player that committed for basketball?
For basketball,
we got a football.
Oh
player.
yeah, no, there was 2 football commitments this week. You had you had Cannon Pickett, who's another Miami legacy. His father, Booker Pickett Sr., played for the Canes in the 90s. His older brother is playing defensive end right now for the Hurricanes, Booker Pickett Jr. Cannon, he's a 4-star offensive lineman, projected most likely to be a guard at the next level for the Hurricanes. Miami beat Clemson and Florida out for him. Florida State was also recruiting him as well. But Miami did a phenomenal job in terms of that recruitment. And then the other one, it was a little surprising for some of us that cover the team like very closely because it was really like a first formal visit around the program. Both sides are kind of feeling out each other, but Tyson Bacon out of Hoover High School in Alabama, Miami landed him over a slew of top choices. Like, I think this kid's underrated considering when you look at the programs that really want him. Like, you had Georgia getting him in for a visit, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida as well. Like, those are all very big. I know Florida didn't have a great season last year, but just the notoriety, prestige, like those type of programs going after a player, it says a lot. That's why I always try to remind people, like, I know people get caught up in the recruiting rankings, but I also like to follow very closely what programs are these guys visiting and who is actually recruiting them and what schools do they really have a committable offer from, because kids can get offers, but not every single offer is committable.
Good point. Hassan, thanks for joining the show. Hassan's a regular. Hey, fellas, it's always great listening to you. Thank you very much. Gio, if you had to pick, who do you think Miami will get, Keys or Russell? I'd love to get both, but I don't think it's feasible.
Well, Miami would love to take both. Do I envision that happening? I think it's very unlikely to get both of those guys. I do think Miami's positioned well to have a top 5 class this year, just the way they're trending with multiple of these targets. And we'll get into a little bit of that. But who do I think is the most likely of the two? It's really tough. It's really tough because Tristan Keys is a very heavy NIL recruitment. You got Miami, LSU in there who he's committed to. Been a lot of chatter back off that commitment as well. I know Oregon has interest in him, Tennessee, Alabama. The program that's been picking up a lot of steam with him, though, for quite some time has been Tennessee, actually. So it's really tough. Man, I would love to give an answer, but it's just both of those guys right now, they are the type of recruitments that it's going to go down to the wire of, like, decision time for them, that to kind of declare, like, okay, yeah, like, I think this one's going to come here. It's very tough. It's very tough to say right now.
F1 Kane, thank you for joining the show. Shout out there to Danny Boy Kane. He definitely is a crazed fan, like a lot of Kane fans that we know. Definitely all over it. So shout out, good point on that. I'm sure we all know several people that are just diehards. You can call them crazy. You can call them fanatical. There's several. The guy that Ricky that you said broke the broke the phone. There's people that
like, I'm telling you, we were all there. We were like, oh my God,
exactly. I've hit the wall before. I know we have wanted to break a TV. You know, we've all wanted to break the TV. Pick something. And they came out with that stress doll. I remember, like the referee stress doll. I thought it was great a few years back, and other things that you can throw them because we all want to launch our TV. We want to launch our glasses. We want to launch something when a play doesn't go our way.
I'll tell you the best one that you could do after you're frustrated with a loss or from a game. Don't break anything. Don't do anything like that. You just get in your car, make sure all doors are closed, and just allow
scream.
I've had that happen a couple of times. Just stressful situations in life, and you just got to let it loose.
Oh no, there's definitely. I need to go for a walk in situations like that. But you're right. I've screened sometimes, or it's a night game or something. My wife's going to sleep early for something, and I'm like, forgot.
Yeah,
She's
so-
never gonna do it. Yes, Miss
No,
Warner, I forgot.
no,
I told
obviously.
you not to yell. I said, I forgot. Well, next play.
No, what pissed me out, I had a similar moment. I know, obviously not the Syracuse game, but last year against Georgia Tech, when I believe their starting quarterback had an arm issue, so they had the other guy start the game, if I'm not mistaken. So my kid friend had a birthday party at a jumping place in Broward, so I'm looking at it on my phone, and I see the first play, this kid run for like 75 yards, knowing the quarterback can't throw, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here, man? Like, dude.
And you're at a kid's party?
Yeah, I almost threw one of the kids across.
I got a great one for you. Actually. This was many years ago. I was in Target actually with my ex-wife. I think Mando knows the story. I've told him before, but
I think so.
I don't think I've ever told Brett this one. I'm in Target, right? And Miami's playing Pittsburgh at Pitt, 2016 season. That undefeated at the time, 10-0. And I'm just watching the game, just shopping and whatnot. And she could see it on my face. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "No, just Miami's not doing so hot today. They might lose this game. They really might lose this game." So on the last drive and everything, when Miami's trying to pull off a miracle and everything, the game comes to an end. And I'm like, "Damn it." I literally said, "Damn it," in the middle of the store. And she's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? It's just a game. Why are you mad?" And I said, "It's not just a game. They were undefeated. This would have been the first time."
I've been there. Nothing worse than it's just a game. What is wrong with you? You need to be on medication or something. I've been there.
I always joke with people. That was the first sign. The second sign is when I went to a Miami Florida State game with her, and she laughed at me when Miami was down at halftime against Florida State. I think that was 2019 or 2019 or 2018. That was the Nkosi Perry game when Miami came back. I was chest bumping with the security guard down the ramp the whole second half because Miami was coming back. And my ex-wife was looking at me like I was insane. That was a crazy day because my brother broke his leg that day too.
Oh boy.
Wild day. I'll never forget that game.
That was some comeback. That was the first game I took my wife to since we've been together for a year. So, but I did the end of the Georgia Tech game. My buddy Rod, we're sitting there, and he says, "Oh, these are my like my niece and nephew, my godchildren, everything. Like they're like 7 and 5." And at the end of that game, when that last play, they're sitting there and everything. And I screamed with that big F word as loud as I could when they scored that touchdown. And afterwards, I felt so bad that I said that. And I've done that in the store. I did that with Syracuse, and I don't realize they say, "Brett, there are customers here." And I always tell everyone we need to be everything. I want everything to be on the correct, everything on the night. But every once in a while, I'll see something. I just can't control myself when I'm watching the game, and it's like, and you drop the F-bomb, and there's customers say, "I'm sorry," and you hoping to say, "Don't worry, we say it all the time at home."
I remember that Geo store. I could just picture the Target employee. "Sir, don't worry. We'll get that TV shipment in pretty soon. Don't get
that was terrible because to hear someone tell you, "Oh, it's just a game," that's the worst.
I hate that.
You're like, it's not just a game.
Exactly.
It's not just. This is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, I when I was married to I was anyway. I remember
Anyway.
It's like when they tell you, there's another game next week. You don't. If you miss this one, it's okay. It's like, huh? Are you kidding? This isn't a TV show. We can just watch the repeat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you haven't noticed, my daughter loves the camera.
She loves the camera. She's gonna be a celebrity. And she's little you for sure. I can't tell you two apart if she had the hat on. She's very shy too, Mando. Just like you. She's like Selfie God Jr.
You're not shy at all, right? You're not. No, she's not shy at all.
She'll be happy to say it. So, Kane Me 89, great name. Thanks for joining the show. Hey, fellas, do you guys watch Nevin Shapiro podcast? He's pretty crazy. LOL.
I've seen it before. I've seen it a couple of times. I've had it pop up on because YouTube has an algorithm. So on my channel, some other related things will pop up every now and then. So I've seen previews pop up, but I've never actually watched it yet.
I met out Nevin. He came into the store actually with my buddy Andy, and I talked to him for a long time. He actually went to Miami Beach a few years after me. I knew a lot of the same people. and actually seemed very. And I mean, there's supposedly going to be a book or a story. It's going to come out, so we'll see what happens. But seemed like a very nice guy on the surface. I have not watched it, but he definitely has that that wild side to him. And I think if he wants to come on our show, I guess we can have him. But have we talk to the group about it. But anyway, yes, but definitely a lively character for sure.
Absolutely.
Me, M. Lemon, man, and it's hate my screen name sometimes, LOL, I'm sure, but I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but can he change his name? I mean, maybe we can help somebody out here. Can he change his screen name?
You technically can change your username on YouTube. You just have to go through your settings and whatnot. They allow it. All
right, Gio, thank you. Maybe save somebody. Jake, Jake throwing up to you as well. July 5th is his birthday. You and M. Lemon is same.
We got the same birthday, yeah.
Right.
My oldest son, I always would joke with him when he was smaller. Now he's much bigger. He's 10 now, but when he was like really little, I used to tell him, I was like, yeah, I get fireworks before my birthday every year because my birthday would come on the 5th, and then on the 4th we had all fireworks and everything.
Funny, and he believed it, right?
Yeah, he believed it at the time.
Why not, right? Look at that. The day before, I know my birthday's coming up. He says everyone does fireworks all over the country. Yeah, that is cool. Happy birthday, twin, and we should have a great present that day on July 5th. Absolutely. Jake, I don't even know what is that. Is that a French fry?
Oh, that's a bacon. He was talking about Tyson Bacon, who were Miami's recent commit.
Oh. Yeah, that's going to be a great birthday day. You got it Saturday, July 5th, right after the holiday of the 4th. That's awesome, G.
Absolutely. That's a great one. They always get those.
Billy Kane shares here. Derek Cooper, this 5-star running back from Broward County here, is at Georgia this weekend. Are we still in the driver's seat to land Cooper? Yes. I love where Miami stands there. I've stood on it for a long time now that I've had a pick in for the Hurricanes dating back to November. I still like it. Visit went very well when he came on campus a couple weeks back. There's some people around the program, I shouldn't say like within the program, but around the program that have had this general sense now for a couple months that they would be surprised if Derek Cooper wasn't a Hurricane. So,
is he related to Greg Cooper?
No.
But we can still say Coop.
Yeah, everyone can bring it back.
All right. Blue with the Cola J comment.
Brett Cola J. So that's another guy Miami's battling with Georgia for. Miami's in the lead there. I actually dropped the pick in for the Hurricanes right before official visit season. I got tipped off by someone very familiar with his recruitment and the IMG Academy program. They had mentioned that. I was shocked when I was told this, but it was a source that I really trust, that it was Miami pulling ahead of Georgia going into the summer visits. It was mostly suspected that Georgia was going to be the team to beat for the most part, but actually Miami. I put in a pick which surprised people, which was at the end of May, and the Hurricanes killed it on his official visit over the past weekend.
I'm on the podcast. Everything okay?
Well, he'll be at Georgia this weekend. Miami's just got to survive the visit, but I love where the Hurricanes are trending there, though.
Awesome. So that'd be great if we can get him. Blue, hey, Brett, will there be Carson Beck? Yes, as long as that is our plan. I have Carson Beck jerseys. We will also have Cam Ward jerseys again, of course, and all your favorite Canes players. We've also got more Sean Taylor and Ed Reed jerseys coming back in. I know we're out of some sizes right now. Sold out of most of the first batch of Sean Taylor and Ed Reed, but we do have more coming in next month as well. Trying to get other players as well. Philly Kane, I think we get Calvin. Keys is. I think we get Calvin. Keys is going to be too expensive. Can't pay everyone.
Yeah, in this day and age in college football with revenue share, and then you still have collectives around and whatnot being supplemental to that. Obviously, you got to be smart with your money. You just can't give everyone top dollar and say, all right, we got a roster. So that's why you see the GM roles now becoming such a prevalent thing around college football. A lot of programs are just hiring general managers, guys to kind of simulate what would be an NFL front office, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I could see a scenario like that playing out. I know Miami would love to get both, but like I mentioned earlier, I just think that's very difficult to envision right now.
Since our last podcast, obviously the big change was the universities can now pay the players. What is it, about $20 million, $21 million?
Yeah, the cap starts at about $20.5 million this upcoming season. Now, the other thing that comes in aside from that is it's percentage based. So obviously, football is your big breadwinner. A lot of programs are going to stick with an 80% split for their football programs. Like you look at a program like LSU or Miami, you know, their big breadwinners in terms of athletics have always been football. So you'll likely see Miami with an 80% split there. So 80% out of that 20.5, you're looking at like around 16 million or so, I would say.
But how will that affect everything? Because right now they're getting the money anyway, the players. Some of these teams have close to $50 million rosters. They've got bigger rosters than the Marlins.
Well, the players that will get the most money in terms of that is if you have a top flight quarterback, already a percentage of that 80% allotment that you have out of that money of the 20.5, a percentage of that's already going to go to the quarterbacks. That's a done deal given. You'll see it kind of like in NFL scale where, you know, quarterbacks, offensive tackles, pass rushers, those are the guys that are going to command top dollar. Receivers as well. Like if you're a big time elite receiver, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much how it'll be structured out moving forward.
But it's just a different way of doing it because I know they're eventually going to want to go to if the school can sign the player, so they're actually signing with the school now. That's someone that's going to be more contracted player. I would
yes, and I think it can mitigate some things in terms of all this craziness we see with the transfer portal, that you have over 1,000 something kids entering that portal every winter and spring every year for the last 3-4 years now. I think you'll see some of that dwindle down because of that. I think also we'll see some regulation as well in terms of the transfer portal. I think what you'll see is the spring period being abolished within the next year. I know that's been on the ballot that they're talking about, potentially getting rid of that and just making it, you know, you hop in the winter and that's it. Like you're with your school and that's it. You can't bounce around. I think that would be great for the sport. Coaches would be happy about that. I think some players will be happy about it too, because you run into situations where programs are pushing kids out after spring because they're trying to bring in other guys that are leaving other programs during spring. So it's just a whole big spider web and opening up can of worms and whatnot. I think it'll definitely help things out if they remove that spring window, and it's being talked about. And the other thing being talked about is we could see, I'm not sure if it'll be this next class, but I know it's being discussed, that a potential signing period in the summer.
Really?
Yeah, that would be, I don't know exactly how that would work. I know they've discussed it. We'll see if it actually happens.
It's going to be a portal season?
What happened?
Signing period. This is going to be an open portal?
No, it would be for the high school players.
Okay, for the high school players.
They would have the opportunity to sign even earlier in the summer, actually, which I think would be crazy in itself. We'll see if it actually happens. Again, there's so many things that have to happen because you still have the February period, which is your traditional one. You have the early period, which is a 3-day window in December, but we'll see.
They want to make it's going to be 24/7, 365 college football.
It's become a year-round thing now.
Absolutely. Hurricane Pope, is it wrong for me to be this excited for this year? I think we will do well. I actually agree. I think this team is going to be special. Obviously, the guy that nobody talks about, even though someone mentioned the Beck jersey. Last year, I'd say this team was 60% of the wins were based on because of Cam, maybe more. Maybe 75% of the wins, but no, we're talking about how good the team is, and we're not even talking about who the quarterback is, and he hasn't even played. So I do think this team's going to be special. I think they're going to be a very dynamic, multi-dimensional team. We're going to run the ball really well. Our offensive line is going to dominate, and I think Beck is going to be a good game manager, but also can make the throws when he has to. He's the most proven quarterback we've ever brought into the program, I think. The sky's the limit this year. If our defense can come through and improve from last year, we should be able to make a good run.
I'll tell you what, Brett. I'll tell you what. Danny Cannell would completely disagree with you. Danny Cannell, the former Florida State quarterback, he thinks there's a chance that Miami will go under 500 and miss a bowl game this year.
Wow.
The new Florida State, right? He wants we're the new Florida State this year, he thinks. So how many did Florida State win last year? 2?
Only 2.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're going to be good this year. I really do. But how are you feeling about it, Mando?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a more well-rounded team. Will the offense be as prolific as last year? No, but the defense will be markedly better, which, I mean, it definitely won't be worse. I mean,
at least we hope it's going to be markedly better. But I still think our offense is going to be much more dimensional this year because I don't think we're going to have to. We could have ran the ball last year, and I think because our quarterback was so good, we needed to throw the ball more. And now,
well, that and you were trailing or barely ahead, and you were at 35. Like, I remember I was at the Duke game. That was like they were up the most of the game. Mm-hmm. We had to keep throwing 30, 40, 50 times because you're losing, you're winning, you're losing, you're winning. Yeah, and you have a great number 1 pick quarterback. Of course, you're going to sling the ball around.
No doubt about that. I forget, in the Syracuse game, 21-0. I know they got the ball next, and I think they scored. But did we start going to the run, or were we still throwing mostly at that time?
No, we threw more, but you've said yourself that we should have ran more. I'm of the belief that make a stop. I mean, you make any stop, you're probably winning that game. They just couldn't stop them.
No, true. But we were up 21-7, and Martinez had like the 60-yard run that got called back, and then we didn't get a first down, and then they scored again. And they scored
I got a hot take on that Syracuse game, actually. And don't get me wrong, I think Jordan Lyle is a phenomenal talent. I think he's really going to open people's eyes.
I think I know where Gio's going here.
They shouldn't have changed the pace there.
Correct.
Martinez was hot. He was getting going in the game, and they rotated for Lyle there, and I just don't think it was the right timing. Like, again, I think Lyle's a phenomenal player. I think his ceiling's even higher than what Damian Martinez was. But I just don't think the timing was right. Like, you got to stick with the hot hand there.
Martinez, the hot hand. Martinez was running right through them. He could have scored, and he could have gone 10 yards of play. As the season went on, he was getting better. And you're right. If they would have kept with him, but the rotation, I know they want to keep players happy, and that's why they've got him, and they wanted to keep him. But you're right. At that time, you really have to go to the freshman over the guy that is dominating.
Yeah.
Go with the hot hand. Bill Belichick, I don't think is going to be doing that. I don't think Bill Belichick, like in New England, I remember a game they were the number 1. They were amazing passing team. We came out and ran like 20 times in a row. We came out and do whatever's working. Work when you try to be go with your strengths. Hurricane Pope, how much for that Hurricane jacket? Well, we do. The starter jacket is awesome. We have a couple of different ones. We have the original that has the Canes on the front and Sebastian on the back, and those are I believe 169 or 179. And then we've got the brand new reversible jacket, which is green on one side, orange on the other, so you can reverse it. And then one's white and black. And this weekend, starting tomorrow, 25% off all Hurricanes apparel. Father's Day special, Hurricanes apparel, Dolphins apparel, Heat apparel, Inter Miami here. Everybody but the Panthers. Apparel, headwear is going to be 25% off. 2-day special sale for Father's Day. So you'll get 25% off that on the starter jackets in the store or online. So that's exciting news. First to announce that. So exciting stuff. So thanks for the question, Hurricane Pope. If you have any others, feel free to ask. Who's that? Croxo Dulzef? Best viewers. What does that say, Gio?
I think that's like an ad.
Okay, good. Forget that.
Nightingale Kane shares, is Miami after Trenton Henderson, the edge from Pensacola, Florida? Yes, Miami had some interest in him pre-spring. There wasn't much traction made there. I know LSU was one of the programs involved with him. I haven't kept up much with his recruitment because Miami really hasn't continued to go in that direction. Guys you could focus on at defensive end are like Shari Charles, Bryce Perry Wright, who that's really a highly contested battle right now between Miami, Clemson, and Texas A&M in there. You also have, oh my goodness, my mind's almost skipping me here. Anthony Tank Jones, who was in during the first week in Miami, Oregon, all in the mix there. Alabama, Auburn. Miami feels that they're very much right in that one. You know, he's still sifting through his options, finishing up his visits, and then let's see. Wait, I feel like it's so many names to remember, and I'm not even like looking at notes right now. But let's see, Anthony Tank Jones. You had Bryce Perry Wright as well. Corey Charles, Kosi Akpala. He's likely headed to Texas. That's not really going to be one that Miami gets into. Miami does like the Anthony Lafayette from Lake Nona, Florida. Miami and Oklahoma kind of going back and forth there. Oklahoma feels like they can get that one done. They're kind of selling him on that role that they've had with there's a pass rusher that actually came out of Broward County some years ago that Brent Venables and that program took. What's his name again? I think he has one of those type of names. He has like a double first name or something like that. People probably remember he played with Ahmad Moten at Cardinal Gibbons, but I just can't remember the kid's name for the life of me right now. Too many names to remember.
Amazing that you remember them all. Me and Mando are keeping track here. And
no, I know I've always been told don't ever trust somebody with two first names.
that is true. It's and all three of us clearly have first and last names that are separate, are different. F1 Kane, yes, after the Miami LSU, when he hit the walk-off home run in the championship game, what was that, 2002? He blurted out, "What the?"
Oh, that is a good one.
Hopefully they weren't about to go ahead. Do you take this man? Do you take this? And we've all been there at the weddings. You're listening to a game in those days. You weren't watching it on your phone, I don't think, were you?
I'll never forget. I remember our shortstop, Alex Cora, literally on the ground like this.
That was such a debilitating defeat. Yeah. We would have gone back to back, right? Was that 2002 or 2000?
That's a great question. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I remember that when they gave up. Who was it? Danny? So who gave up that home run?
Actually, it was a closer.
It was the closer.
He threw a breaking ball. I'll never forget the LSU kid. His name was Warren Morris, a lefty. The pitcher was Robbie. He was our closer. Great closer.
Robbie.
I'll probably after the show. I'll look at
it. But the thing about that game is we were coming out of the winners column. They were in the losers column. Today it would have been different. But now they it would have been the next year went to 2 out of 3 but now it's 2 out of 3 no matter what, I think, right? There's no losers and winners. Both teams get there. But it was at that time it was just a single game elimination, even though we had not lost. So I'm going to go back now in time and we're going to go ahead and say it's another time the Hurricanes have been ripped off. You know, Notre Dame, Ohio State, you can name them all. Philly came. My son's birthday is July 5th as well. July 5th.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of July 5th birthdays here.
You like the Pied Piper here. Lemon Management, LOA, I told my kids that too. Okay. Hassan, Gio, do you still like Miami's chances with Cooper? He's visiting Georgia this weekend. Cooper sounds like a guy that would play for Georgia.
Yeah, I had already answered this.
Mondo thinks we are getting him. Right, Mando?
Yeah.
Not Mando. Gio. Mondo thinks whatever Gio thinks. If Gio says
I like this question,
it's good for the three of us. So you think we're getting him, right, Gio?
Yes, I can definitely see Miami landing.
Definitely, maybe. How do you stand with Lamar? Do we take both he and Cooper? I think you answered that one too, right?
No, I haven't answered that one yet.
It's a new one.
Derek Cooper is a what you call a +1 guy that Miami will take him regardless of anyone who's in the class. That is a definite, he has a spot no matter what. Now, when it comes to Jay Lamar from Coquitlam County in the Georgia area, Miami's got a couple connections there between having Nikar on the roster over the past year. They also brought in Kamal Bonner from NC State, young linebacker, multiple years of eligibility that they're really excited about. Both of those guys went to the very same school as Jay Lamar. They're very close. Lamar actually happens to be the cousin of Nikar too. Now, Georgia and Clemson have been two programs that have done very well with recruitment through and through. Miami's got him on campus multiple times. It's more of a feel it out situation. Like Miami's going to press the gas this week. And the reason why they're going to do that is because one of their running back commits right now in Javian Mallory from West Boca, he's actually going to be visiting Alabama this week. And if people who are subscribed to my private board, I mentioned this out a month ago, that Alabama and Clemson were two programs that were still pursuing Mallory. So like things are not 100% set in stone there. Miami's going to get the last visit with Jimmy and Mallory as well. He'll be here next weekend. But again, Mario Cristobal and his coaching staff, their philosophy is if you're looking, we're looking too. So they got a top flight running back on campus this weekend. Yes, Georgia's had a lot of momentum with Lamar. Clemson's even been in there too, but Miami's going to shoot their shot, and they're going to press the gas this weekend to see if they could try to get him in the fold.
Awesome. All right. Hassan, Gio, what's Miami chances with safety? Stewart, I'm hearing he's very good.
Yeah, so he's talking about Blake Stewart from the state of Georgia. He actually plays on the same 7-on-7 team with another one of Miami's commitments from the state of Georgia. That's Jontavius Wyman. Another guy that Miami's also pursuing that plays on that very same 7-on-7 team is Samari Matthews out of that South Carolina area, who's got Texas and South Carolina and Miami, like mostly his top three there. Miami's still trying to battle there, but a lot of buzz for Texas for Samari Matthews. But on Blake Stewart, though, I like where Miami stands. Clemson and Michigan have both been kind of pushing in there, but it's Miami who's been kind of out in front throughout the spring, heading into the summer. There's even actually a time that some people around the program kind of expected him to commit around spring, like April, early May. That didn't happen. He wanted to take his visit. So Miami's going to press this weekend to try to get him into the class. He's him along with Israel Briggs, the 6'6" tight end, like flex tight end that'll be visiting this weekend. Those two guys are guys I would be monitoring as like potentially the next commits. Guys like that or like Brett Koloje as well.
Philly Kane, I think we got Calvin Lopez and Stafford. What do you think about that, guys? Think we can get them all?
I think two of those three are very possible. Believe it or not, I know people are like, oh man, a receiver from California, from Mission Viejo, in Vance Spafford, who's committed to Georgia, and all these other programs going after him. I'll put it this way. Miami had absolutely no shot at Vance Spafford a few months ago before he took a visit to the program. When he came down here, he was blown away. Like it completely opened up his eyes. It changed his perspective on everything. Miami feels confident that they actually have a opening here that they could potentially close and get from that Georgia commitment. Like Georgia's definitely concerned about is he actually going to stay in the class? I know him and USC, they've kind of cut ties and whatnot. Oregon is a sleeper program in there though. I'll mention that much. But with Lopez though, people have brought this up because of the basketball aspect, because he's a heck of a basketball player too. Jason Lopez out of Chaminade Madonna Prep. Had over 1,000 yards last year for that program for the Lions. I'll share this. I know Miami likes him. I know he likes the aspect of potentially playing basketball. Miami hasn't extended an official offer yet, but Jay Lucas and the basketball program, they're very well aware of who he is. They've seen him multiple times in the past couple months since Lucas has come on board with the program. Again, no official offer there yet, but the football program loves him, and they'd love to take him on in that aspect. I think two programs in particular I'd keep an eye on with him, though, is like NC State. Excuse me. NC State and West Virginia are two programs that are kind of offering that possibility to play both sports. It's really up to the kid what he wants to do at the next level.
How often does a kid play two sports?
It happens every now and then. I just think at a certain point that player has to kind of commit full on to one. Like which one do you have better pro prospects in? Because like people always think,
Exactly.
Calvin Russell and playing basketball. Calvin Russell is a good basketball prospect, but he's a great football prospect because of the size, the athleticism, the traits. Again, like what are the chances of Calvin Russell making the NBA compared to the NFL? Or you could say the same for Jason Lopez as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because who was it? The quarterback. Who's the quarterback for Arizona right now in the NFL? He played. Who did he play for?
Tyler Murray.
Tyler Murray. He
Murray.
was also. They said he was a better baseball player. I remember he was going to go baseball, be a first round. He was. I think he was drafted first round.
Jameis Winston was a big time baseball prospect too.
He should have stuck with baseball. And you look at Charlie Ward. I mean, when he was a Heisman Trophy winner and he played the NBA instead. I mean that was phenomenal. You know, the guy that won a Heisman played in the other sport. That's amazing.
Kyler Murray, if I'm not mistaken, was he was in baseball. He was like a top 10, top 15 first round pick.
Yeah, he was. And they said all along he was drafted by the A's. I think they said he's definitely playing baseball. And then he became he was the number one pick, wasn't he? Was he number one that year in the NFL?
Yeah, I think so, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I thought he would never be. But I look back at Charlie Ward, not to be confused with Cam Ward, but for Florida State, who was great quarterback. I thought he would have been great in the NFL, and he ended up playing basketball. And I didn't even know he played basketball that whole time.
Yeah.
There's been guys that have played both sports. I mean, obviously, Bo Jackson played both sports in the. Did he play college baseball, Bo Jackson, or he just played?
He played at Auburn. Yeah, absolutely.
He played baseball and football. Obviously, Deion Sanders played baseball and football. But baseball and football to me is different than basketball and football. I don't know. Baseball is a more sedentary sport. I mean, not that you don't have to be an athlete, of course, but basketball, you're really pounding your body the whole time, just like football. So
exactly,
it's interesting. I don't remember the last time a Miami guy played both. Do you?
But I know Malik Rozier. He reason why I say Rozier, he told me some years back because they used to say Rozier.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, he's like, yeah, I just kind of let it be, but. Announcers used to say it like that, but his name's actually Rozier. That was crazy, like mind-blowing when he told me. I was like, wow. So I know he was with the baseball program for a little bit.
Really?
With football, and then he went full on with football.
Awesome.
He's the last one that I could really remember. I know, let's see. Maybe you could consider Jackson Cantwell, who's coming in, because I know they've discussed it very much about him doing track and field as well. But it's been a while.
Yeah, so it's all right, cool.
That's Cantwell does the shot put, right?
Actually,
something crazy to me. I saw what's today, Friday. Yesterday, the WWE and former college guy Brock Lesnar, his daughter won the female shot put in college.
Really?
Yes, his daughter.
Yesterday. Well, I believe it. Have you seen the pictures of her? That girl is strong. She is strong.
And Gio's the one not drinking, right, Brett?
Exactly. All right. Dolphin Derek joins the show. Go Canes. Dolphin Derek, do you have any Beck jerseys in the store? No, but we will have number 15 jerseys. We'll have to brush off some of those. What was those? Those Brad Kaya jerseys and just switch the name. I was funny.
Brad is a clown.
Yes, Brad Kaya was when he was the quarterback 15. It was 2015. It was like, okay, you can only get. So great, this is awesome. We got the quarterback. Anyway, so thank you for asking that, Dolphin Derek. Canes Jones, welcome to the show. What is it?
He said, "What's good, Gio and the fam? It's all about keeping the attention on college football and less of a boredom of the offseason." Be right, Gio. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, we're almost there, man. It's mid-June. We're almost there, guys.
I think
What's the number?
I think it's like 79 days now.
Wow, it was just 100 when Mando announced it to the world.
Well, it's not that I'm counting, but it's 11 weeks from this Sunday.
All right, so he goes on every day with it. That's a good idea that you come out and let me know.
And that
F1 Kane, I think that will use his tight end more than Cam did. I think he will use. I don't know. It was weird last year with Arroyo. It looks like I don't know why he was in, out. He could have hit Arroyo all the time. It seemed like, but But either way, I do think Beck obviously had the amazing year with Brock Bowers, right? That was Beck, right? 2 years ago?
Well, that, and I will say that with the uncertainty and question, not that we don't have talent at wide receiver, but I think to his point, you may see the tight end be used more because there isn't. I mean, yeah, they didn't go to Arroyo a lot last year because all the targets were Restrepo and George. It's a lot of targets being spread around. Plus, you're running the ball also. So I expect the tight ends to be huge. A lot of targets this year. Yes, that's a good point.
Who's our backup to Lofton?
That'll be Alex Bowman. Well, I don't know if you want to really say backup because he'll get starter quality reps, but Alex Bowman that just came in from Tulane. The coaches are actually really excited about him. They say that he's a really consistent player, that he's not one of those guys that disappears for games at a time and then reappears. That's
awesome.
Consistent.
What are the size of both of them, Bowman and
Bowman is around 6'4". Lofton is about 6'2".
Okay, so and Lofton, you think will be running the ball sometimes too out of the formation?
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
I saw something posted yesterday where they ranked like talked about a whole bunch of different schools. For Miami, they had the floor. They had the floor at 8-4, the ceiling at 11-1. What do you guys think about that?
I could agree with that, but I think anything less than 10 wins is a disappointment.
Totally. And why do they think? Who do they think we're going to lose to? I mean, granted, not to say we're going to go 12-0, but
they literally did floor and ceiling for everybody, so that's
okay.
They were just doing
I'm saying we can hold serve at home field. At home field, we're going to have a great season. We can hold serve and win those 8 games. So we do think. Do you think they'll have the? You think Lofton, since he is a tight end, he obviously is a blocker, he's a great runner. Do you think he will line up in the backfield as well come out for passes a lot?
Yes. They have some packages with that, actually.
All right. And who's the better receiver, would you say, out of the 3 running backs that we have?
The best receiver of the 3? From what I've seen personally, I would say it's Fletcher. At least on a consistent basis, like what I've seen over the last 2 years with those guys in the program. Again, I want to see Lyle with more opportunities in that aspect, see what he can do. He didn't get a lot of those last year, so we'll see. But I would say Fletcher right now.
Okay. Let's see. Canes Jones, no defense, but that clearly not going to happen this year. The fumble by X, etc. Is a lot of contributing factors to that loss. Yeah, but true. I mean, X did have the fumble, but he made up for it in many ways. I don't believe you can ever judge something on its worst moment. I can't judge a person or judge a player and dropping one because all in all, it comes down to there were several opportunities the Canes had in that game. It's hard to say you can't pinpoint it just on the fumble. No, they did go the distance on the fumble, right? He kicked it up in the air, but he also had some spectacular plays. So
sure,
it's all about the defense. It's all about the defense that game. I mean, the offense put up points. If it's just a fumble that we had, a freak fumble like that, it's. I mean, what they score 45 points on us.
Which team?
Syracuse. That was the fumble. Was the Syracuse?
Yeah.
Sure, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I know a lot of people were upset, and they were upset with X because he didn't play, in the bowl game. And if he had to do over, he probably plays in it. Now that we saw where he was drafted, and he, because of the 40, his time was not that good in the in the team pro day. But I think X gave everything he had this year. Great year. I don't know. Cliff's not here to defend them, so I'll do it for him. How will special teams be this year, Blue? That's an excellent question because everyone talks about the defense. Our special teams has not been good. Not just they've been less than average for a long time. I mean, even with Golden was the special teams guy. We said finally he's gone. Every team on the plus minus is killing us. Much more returns than we're getting. It's we don't return the ball. What do you got, Mando?
I know that we're going to discuss who's going to return and this and that, but my question for once in the last several years is our kicking game. That to me is going to be very interesting. That's
a concern. We've had the boys.
Really, how it's shaped up is you get Burt Auburn in the program from Texas. I know so many people are concerned, and I don't blame them because the way he ended his 2024 campaign wasn't great. You look back to 23 and 2022 during his time with Texas, it was actually pretty good. Miami's pretty darn optimistic that they can get him back to form. Sometimes kicking is a mental game, so they think that they can get him right in that aspect. You have Dylan Joyce returning back at punter, who's in that top quarter of punters in the country, so they'll be fine in that aspect. Now, kickoff teams, you're looking at Carter Davis from FAU, who's basically, this has been his job for years now in college, to just boot kicks. He's pretty good, actually, from like beyond 50 in terms of field goals, so he may come in situationally there. But that's how that kicking situation will handle out. Now, in terms of like return teams and whatnot, I would love to see the return units get better, like just in terms of just blocking, creating lanes, and the other aspect I would say is just coverage too. That has to improve. He gave up multiple touchdowns in that department last year, and I think that gets better just simply off of creating depth, getting in better young talent in the program, guys that are young and hungry and want to play, but maybe they have some guys in front of them, but they can get some of that aggression out on special teams. If you look back to last year, a couple of guys like that were your Dylan Days or Cam Pruitts or even a Darius Hayes last year. Those guys kind of flashed on special teams. So you want to get some more of those guys in the program that maybe they're not ready to get on the field yet on defense, but they can make an impact on special teams and continue improving that. But in terms of return teams, though, I think it's a major plus with what Miami got with Keelan Marion, a All-American kick returner. I don't think you could have done any better in terms of addressing that. Jordan Lyle will be in the mix there as well. Gerard Pringle, a couple other guys. Punt return teams, Keontae Scott, the defensive back that they got from Auburn. He was all SEC type of guy, led the conference. I think it was like 2 years back-to-back in terms of punt return yard average. Explosiveness there in terms of the punt return game. I do think they'll try to see like who is their safest option, and then you'll see a factor of Scott being within that too, like a potential game breaker type, and then someone else that they feel that maybe they might not be super explosive or whatnot, but punting game now for a lot of teams, they want someone back there that's very sure-handed, that you get the ball back in your offense's hand, so they can have the opportunity to actually drive down the field.
No, that's all good things. We just have to, people talk offense, defense. Obviously, there's three parts to every game, and special teams is key. It's nothing worse when you score a touchdown or a field goal and they come right back and return it all the way. It's such a backbreaker as well. Carter Davis, you feel is going to be able to kick the ball in the end zone, out of the end zone every time?
He's done it quite a bit in his career. He's actually more successful at that aspect of the kicking game compared to Andy Borregales. Andy handed field goals and kickoffs, but Carter Davis is at least his conversion rate in terms of kickoffs to touchbacks has been much more compared to Borregales.
Awesome. So and just that Marion, where did he come from?
Kick returner. He came from BYU.
And he was an All-American kick returner.
All-American kick returner. He brings some value as a receiver too. They love what he's been like since he's got it in the program this offseason. Just a lot of the early return and feedback on him. They're really like plus up on him.
All righty. Mando, you got anything to add to that?
No, definitely the kid from BYU. That's amazing.
Yeah.
As Gio just mentioned, it doesn't get bigger than that. All-American.
I agree.
This comment's got me chuckling.
I know, Gio. That's so. Can we talk a little bit about Gio's stash, please? We have the lady boys in Thailand.
Oh,
I don't know if I want to laugh or get mad. I'm not sure.
Exactly. It's
I did not have that on my bingo card for this evening.
Yeah,
as far as recruiting talk.
Exactly. That Duval Kane X2 gave us that one. Thank you for the donation to the podcast. We won't forget it.
We won't.
We got this Gio Kane. I got the reversible right now. Okay, Gio Kane, welcome to the show. It's we got Gio Kane, and he's got the right there, Gio. He's reversible. Black and white. I love that jacket. The reversible black and white is also the versatile green and orange is also awesome. You don't see the orange one around too much, but great job, Gio. Thank you so much. We appreciate your patronage at CanesWear. Canes Jones, Bill doesn't know how to handle his 23-year-old girlfriend. He is going to handle these entitlement attitudes of the. How is he going to handle the entitlement attitudes of these young men?
This show is classic tonight.
Exactly. So it's, I mean, I don't know. Bill's handling that 23-year-old girlfriend obviously as good as any other guy out there that she's with. But I think Bill won't have so much trouble handling these kids. I mean, he's Bill Belichick. I saw this show the other day with Bill and the Clemson coach, Dabo. It was a pretty good show.
I saw part of that.
And you know what? And Bill, if I was looking at Bill Belichick, I would never think that he is this awesome coach. I mean, when Don Shula used to talk, there was something special. And not that Don Shula is any better than Belichick, because Bill Belichick's won a lot more Super Bowls. But the fact is, he looks just like some regular guy. I feel like I'm talking to him at Cheers or something like that, the bar. It was just funny how it was. But I think Bill's going to be fine. What do you guys think?
I'm more in wait and see mode.
Yeah, it was never a big, but you know what? You got to respect the guy that's won. He did it his way. Now he's a little older. He has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend is older than most of the players, which is a good thing. Let's see, orange and green, blood CWO. What's good, family? Good to see you. Thanks for joining the show. Orange and green, great name. F1K 1996. That was to what? Last time the Panthers played in the championship. What, 1996 was the World Series? Is that what it was?
Oh, maybe the College World Series probably.
Was it 96? Okay.
Maybe.
Awesome. I thought it was 2000, but that's definitely could be wrong. Canes Jones, vets, don't forget to upload your credentials to get your percentage of your orders at CanesWear.com. Thank you, Canes Jones. Yes, veterans do get 10% off in store and online as well. We take care of veterans and first responders. We're looking at rolling out a program, guys, that I've thought of. I don't know how we're going to do this, but for veterans that don't want to take their money, their 10%, that they will donate it to another veteran. And then we will get a certain amount of money to give to veterans less fortunate. So if any veterans want to hit me up on that and tell me what they think of that idea, it's something that we want to do to give to people that don't have. Of course, you can have your 10%, which is a great thing, and you guys deserve it because you deserve a lot more, actually. But we can give you 10%. But a program that you can use your money or donate it to another veteran and we'll get a fund going for those that need it. All right.
Excellent.
So that's a thought. Kim Sanchez. All right, Kim, welcome to the program. Thanks for all the info. She loves the show. Kim is a great listener and awesome. Thank you very much, Kim. My wife is staring at me. So I parked a little bit to the middle because I planned on going out before. She came and says, "Give me your keys. Give me your keys now. Give me one of these." And she says, "I need to move the car now." I mean, she works till 9:30 tonight, and she's going to give me a hard time.
Yeah, I heard earlier in the show. I think you had a phone call. I'm on the podcast.
Call
me later, baby.
Camera. I didn't realize that was on the video. Good thing she didn't go off me. Not that she ever would. M. Lemon, she's looking at me again. Let's just call it Mr. Lemon.
Let's just call it.
Will we actually take all three running backs if Mallory doesn't decommit, but Cooper and Lamar commit?
Yeah. If there was a world that all three wanted in, yeah, I'm sure Miami would try to figure that out. I just think it's unlikely. I think likely what you see is one of two scenarios playing out. Miami splits between Cooper and Lamar, that Cooper goes to Miami, Lamar goes to Georgia, and they keep Mallory. Or I think if Mallory wanted to hop out of the class, even though that's not the feeling around the program right now, they expect him to stick with the Hurricanes despite the Alabama visit, despite Clemson pushing and whatnot. Like they've been aware of this. It's not like they're shocked that, he's going to take an Alabama visit. You know, he's been in consistent communication with the staff about things. He wanted to take a couple of visits. Some of these kids, sometimes that's what they want to do. But Miami always has the approach that if you're looking, we're going to continue recruiting other guys too. So that's the balance you got to play with when you're a recruiter and you commit to Miami early on. If you decide to take visits, they're going to look at guys at your spot. So I'm sure things will get handled there within the next week. He'll be on campus next weekend, Jamie and Mallory. So we'll see how things shore up there.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Lint B. Jimmy Graham, what was that answer to?
That was about the players that played multiple sports at Miami in the football.
Oh, that's right. Jimmy played basketball, and then he went. Actually, great point.
Yeah, but Jimmy was before Malik Rozier, though.
Yes, and Jimmy played basketball. Then he turned into a football player.
I remember his quarterback was Ja'Cory Harris.
Mm-hmm. Now I'll never forget when he dropped 2 passes, I think, against Virginia Tech, and everybody was calling for his head.
That was the game in the rain at it wasn't even Hard Rock Stadium back then at the time. I think it was Sun Life at the time.
Sun Life. Okay, I forgot about that. But yeah, and Jimmy Graham should be a Hall of Famer for sure. He definitely should be a Hall of Fame. So should Greg Olson for that matter. Canes should have like 20 Hall of Famers.
That Drew Brees Jimmy Graham combo was lethal.
Phenomenal. Absolutely, yeah. And Nick Saban actually came out and said, clearly the reason he went to Alabama and left Miami, he said, I never said it, but it was because we didn't take Drew Brees. He said, if we would have taken Drew Brees, I would have stayed. But when we didn't take Drew Brees, everybody said he was fine. Our doctor said no. I said, I'm out of here. And can you imagine if Nick Saban would have got Drew Brees? I mean, who knows how many Super Bowls he would have won that Bill Belichick wouldn't have. And Bill Belichick would have never went to Alabama. Because if he was dominating the NFL, why would he have gone? So quite interesting. Just that move of the Dolphins not taking not taking Drew Brees. So typical Dolphins.
I mean, we never know what the Dolphins' offense would have been either, because I know like Drew Brees ended up in a dome with Sean Payton and all that. I mean, I don't know if he would have thrown for 5,000 yards every season here, but still, it was Drew Brees. So
it was Drew Brees. He looked great in San Diego. You know, he got the injury, and he didn't look good. Drew Brees looked terrible his first 2 years. That's why they went out and took Phillip Rivers, if you remember. Because Drew Brees did not look good. Then his 3rd year, he turned it on. He became a different quarterback. So if he would have came, then possibly Nick Saban would never go to Alabama, and history as we know it would be changed. The Hurricanes probably would have won 5 national championships. Gio, is Miami still after Hizzy Kent? What a name, Hizzy Kent.
Oh, he's talking about Hizzy Kent, big jumbo athlete who's about 6'5", 280, 290, towering close to like 300 pounds, that he wants to play tight end at the next level. Miami's recruiting him as a tight end. Some other programs are. Mostly a Miami and Florida battle. I know Texas is trying to inch their way into that too. I will say, though, there's been a lot of Florida buzz behind his recruitment within the past week or so. I know Miami's still fighting there. I don't want to tip the cap which way yet, but if he were to decide today, I think it's Florida. But again, his decision will be coming up in July, so there's still some time on the clock.
You said he's 6'5", 290 or 6'8", 290?
He's 6'5", around 280, 290.
Wow.
He wants to be a tight end at the next level. Miami's open to it. Florida's open to it. But I'm going to be very honest and frank. I think he's an offensive tackle at the next level. I think he's just – you look at a kid at that size and you think about how much he's going to explode in a college strength and conditioning program. I don't know. I've never seen a 300-plus pound tight end unless he cuts weight or he stays roughly 275 or 280. I just don't see it happening. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree. But the guy the Dolphins drafted out of Michigan, the defensive tackle, he's like 6'6", I think, like 320, and he runs like a 4'8". I mean, there's got to be guys that is a freak of nature. There are guys like that. So who knows? If he is like that, hopefully we get him. Didn't Jimmy Graham play basketball from F1 Kane? Yes, he did play basketball first. He was a decent basketball player, but he made the right move to go to football. Lorraine, welcome to the show. Go Canes. Great talking to you, Lorraine. Thanks for joining. Juan Manuel has joined the show. Hey, guys. Happy Father's Day to all. Thank you very much. What do you think looks better? Okay. You can read that one, Mando.
Who do you think looks better in a bikini or a bra at South Beach? Bill Belichick or his 24-year-old girlfriend, Miss Hudson?
It's Friday
Well,
night.
I definitely don't think it would be Bill Belichick.
I don't think it'll be Bill Belichick. He looks a little like a whale, I think, on some pictures. Or the underbelly of a great white.
I will say some of the questions have been a little different after Happy Hour on a Friday versus a Wednesday.
Friday night, you need to do the show more often on Friday nights. Obviously, bring out the fun people. Hassan, Gio, looks like Dominic Mysteria from WWE.
Oh.
Wow.
Wait, I gotta Google that really quick.
It's better than the Thailand Ladyboys, I think.
I know Rey Mysterio. I'm not sure who Dominic Mysterio. Oh, you know what? I do know who it is. Yeah, I saw him recently.
Let's see.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Does that look like you, Gio?
I could kind of see it, like just the mustache part. Yeah, I could see it.
Gio is a celebrity.
That's so funny.
F1 Kane 96 was the CWS choke game. All right, so it's officially 96. All right. And then we ended up winning in what, 2001?
Yeah.
Amazing we won football and baseball. Nobody really cared about baseball in those days. Now it's so big, but when we won, like nobody cared about college baseball. But now it's huge, especially with college softball being so big. Orange and green blood, CWO. Happy Father's Day to all dads out there. Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day to you and everyone else in our listening audience. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
There's no greater thing to take care of a young lad. Obviously, young lad.
Yeah, I need to apologize for going in and out of camera because you saw my daughter. Now my son's here doing laps. I'm like,
okay.
like a pinball right now. Sorry.
You just want to prove that you want to prove that you want the votes for Father of the Year in this Father's Day CanesWear contest. I can say, right?
Well, I'm not going to win the Mustache of the Year award tonight. So
you better grow. We better grow right now. Try to keep up. No one's going to have one as good as Gio. That is perfect. The nice middle. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Gio, is there a chance of defensive tackle grad transfer? Can we get a defensive tackle grad transfer? Who are you hearing about during this summer? There seems to be excitement about offensive line McCoy coming from some sources. Why?
Okay, so in terms of a defensive tackle grad transfer, I doubt that happens. Miami's roster is pretty much set for this upcoming year. In terms of about who I'm hearing buzz about during the summer, I think he's talking about players on the team. If it's about players on the team, I will say this. A lot of good feedback about Carson Beck and how he's handling things between this time of like just player-led workouts, player-led functions and whatnot, just time in the film room as well. I've heard good things on Mark Fletcher and his strength and conditioning coming into this season. I've heard good things about Mohamed Toure, who just came in from Rutgers, the big-time transfer linebacker. I've heard some things that could potentially be used like stand-up pass rusher in Heatherman's defense. Could play some Will, could play some Mike. They're going to move him around in this defense. So definitely something to look forward to there. And a lot of good things about Ethan O'Connor this offseason as well. Just a few names there. And I think one more name I would add in addition to that, Armando Blunt as well. He's someone I mentioned before spring. He's carried that beyond spring as well. He's a guy that people could look forward to making a real impact this year in that rotation as a pass rusher, especially with the help that they need at defensive tackle. He's going to play quite a bit.
So is he sophomore or junior now?
He's a sophomore now.
Okay, good. So, yeah, he came in. What was he, a 5-star or 4-star?
He was a 5-star. Yeah, but
right.
he had reclassified. He went a class down to get here earlier. And then, he also mentioned here, Juan Manuel, he said there seems to be excitement about Matt McCoy coming from some sources. Why? Yeah, actually, some people in the building think that he's an NFL talent as an interior lineman. Some people think that Ryan Rodriguez may be better as a run blocker compared to McCoy. I know McCoy was banged up throughout the spring and missed quite some time. So that's still a competition going on between those two at left guard. We'll see how everything shakes out. But I know just like the internal thought, though, they think McCoy could be a legitimate guy.
Awesome. Got anything to add on that, Mando?
No, I think the boss man Gio just nailed it.
On Manuel, okay, our first Malachi Fields question is how's he doing in Notre Dame? They feel like he's a difference maker, but is he all that better than Bo Collins, the former Clemson wide receiver? They are similar big frame wide receivers. First of all,
Fields, he's definitely better than Bo Collins.
Okay, and he's definitely with Notre Dame now. He's assigned. So we missed on that one. Okay. Not that we missed. You already gone to Notre Dame. Why do you think a guy like that? Do you think the Canes had interest in him?
I do know that there were some people in the building that had watched his film, like when he initially entered the transfer portal. Just nothing really ever materialized between both sides there.
All right. So it was not someone that we really were excited about. Hopefully he doesn't burn us in the first game. Who was the guy from North Carolina? Was that Taz? Who was the guy from North Carolina that came back and couldn't play a few years ago? And then all of a sudden he lit us up for 3 touchdowns in the game.
The wide receiver?
The wide receiver, yeah.
That was like a Taz Johnson also, wasn't it? What was his name?
I forgot his name, actually, to be honest.
I thought that kid was going to be he was so smooth. He looked so good. He really never did anything much after that. But against us, he came back. The AC said, of course you can play now against Miami. Why not? Everybody play. All right. Gio, any news on linebacker Hayes? Jose Santos.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining the show, Jose.
So on the Adarius Hayes situation, he is working out with the team and whatnot. Haven't heard anything new in terms of, just the accident and everything that happened, whatnot. It's a very touchy subject, but last that I had heard about that situation is just it was still under investigation. It's been quite some time now, though, so we'll see how everything transpires. But as of right now, he has been working out with the team as if everything was normal status quo. So
for those of us that haven't been paying attention, what did he do? Can we say on the show?
It's a very sad situation because it's still not very clear who's at fault or whatnot. Yeah, it was a really bad car accident that happened in the Largo, Florida area, and then 2 children had passed away and a grandmother, and it's just really tragic overall.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, sad. So hopefully, very sad. I do remember it now. John Bradley, what is the max number you see us taking in this year's recruit cycle?
Well, scholarships will go up to 105 next year for football. I think you see a big class this year. I think a minimum that I believe you could see is at least a minimum 28 guys in this class. I think Miami could have maybe 23, 25, somewhere around that range of just commitments coming out of this summer. I mean, I know they're up to like 13 guys right now. I could see them adding another 10 between now and the end of July.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Let's see. Juan Manuel, his A Kent needs to be taken to a few. Okay. To have him to add some weight on him, I guess. Let's see what do you got there? Can you read that one better than me, Gio?
A Kent needs to be taken to a few Prime 112 dinners and have him weighed on a scale for him to see that he's an offensive tackle. He can eat here, but as a tight end, he will dine at Jenny Craig on his own dime. That's great.
Yeah. That was funny. That was good. So yes, that is funny. Gio, what's Miami's chances with the Auburn linebacker that just decommitted? I'm hearing a lot of buzz from Rutgers linebacker commit. That's Hassan.
Yeah, so Jermichael Garrett, who just decommitted from Auburn, that was kind of in the works for some time now. He's actually at LSU this week. He's visiting them. It's still kind of up in the air if he's going to end up visiting Miami next week. His visit for this weekend's off the table. He's not here this weekend. So, again, I mentioned this on the board some weeks back in the private board that it was kind of unclear where he was at in the pecking order of the linebackers that they're going after. Like, there was a time when Miami was going to have him on a visit. Then they pulled back that visit. This was like dating back to like January, February. and then they decided they weren't going to go after him. Then they changed their mind that they went out to go see him over the spring and had him visit. And then it's just been very up and down. And usually when situations kind of like that play out, it's more so the coach has got to make a decision at some point, like whether it's an active evaluation or you bring the kid in on an official visit and you decide, all right, are we going to take him or not? Just very unclear there. I don't think it's Miami right now. We'll see if he ends up showing up next week. But in terms of the Rutgers linebacker, that is one in particular that Coach Corey Heatherman absolutely loves. Justin J.J. Edwards out of Edgewater High School. If that high school sounds familiar, that's the same high school that C.J. Baxter came out of a couple years back, the Texas running back who was a former 5-star prospect. Got hurt last year, but he's going to be one of Texas' key guys on that offense this year with Arch Manning and all those guys. But staying on track there, though, Justin J.J. Edwards. Corey Heatherman loves him, very high on the board. It actually came a little bit of a surprise that he committed to Rutgers last week. He still plans to take his Miami visit this weekend, so that's still very interesting considering he just came off that commitment. Miami is going to push and try to get him to flip off of that commitment to Rutgers. So already just a whole bunch of drama there between all the connections between Mario Cristobal, Greg Schiano, and Corey Heatherman. So
oh my goodness,
quite the dramatic love triangle there.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing that, the show within the show. Juan Manuel, thank you for asking what Canes merchandise selling hot besides Sean Taylor. As I mentioned before, Sean Taylor is flying off the shelves. Remember, CanesWear spot South Florida fan shop at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. CanesWear.com is 24/7. We got a big weekend sale going 25% Saturday and Sunday on all team merchandise, apparel, headwear, and clothing, footwear for Canes, Dolphins, Heat, Marlins, and Inter Miami. Everybody but except for the Panthers right now. The Sean Taylor shirt hot. We got more coming in. The jersey next month. Ed Reed's going well. Of course, Cam Ward jerseys are selling really well still. We've got to get more of those. A lot of cool hats that we've got coming in. We got these new Quantum shorts in Coliseum. They're going to be awesome. They're only going to be $39, and I got them. Normally, you just get orange, but I ordered so many I could get black, green, and white also. I think I got coming in. Brand new short. It may be 39 or 42. It's going to be about a lot less than the Adidas shorts. And they're really nice. I saw we got some nice shirts coming up from them also. Lots of cool stuff. Baseball jerseys with the team going ahead and advancing to the Super Regionals. The jerseys were selling well. The hats, you can get all those. Gear up for next year, 25% off this weekend. So a lot of stuff going on. So thank you for that question, Juan Manuel. And remember, at the end of the show, we're going to try to give somebody a $25 gift card as well. So stay tuned. Martin Dube finally caught one of these lives at 4 a.m. Awesome stuff.
Wow.
That's about the time I went to sleep the last 3 nights, 4 a.m. I shouldn't say nights, morning. I came home from being at the Panther game last night, or if I'm working the Panther game at quarterback, it takes me like 3 or 4 hours to just settle down.
You mentioned the baseball. The third baseman, Danny Cuvée, was named first-team All-America today.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is he coming back? Is he going to be a junior, right?
Yeah, he's coming back. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Is it still you can't go? Yeah, in baseball, you either go as a freshman or a junior. You can't. Can you go as a sophomore anymore?
I don't think so. No, I don't believe so.
So you have to go straight from high school.
Straight from high school or as a junior in college.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. That's always cracked me up. You know, you play 2 years in the majors and in college, you can't go, especially with now the way it is in all the other sports.
No, speaking of the baseball, real quick, I was looking at something before. Remember C.J. Kafis, the lefty hitter?
Yes.
He's with the Cleveland Guardians. I think he's up to like double or triple A, if I'm not mistaken. And he hit a home run today or yesterday off of Max. Remember Max Scherzer? He was down. They said he was down in the minors for a rehab assignment, and he just destroyed a home run off of him.
Wow.
So all indications are that Capus will be up in the big show real soon. He's tearing it up. Like,
he's special. Yes.
Yeah.
Too bad the Marlins don't have a guy like that.
What about Yohandi? I haven't been tracking the stuff on.
You know what? I haven't heard much about him, to be honest. I want to look it up today. Actually, when we're done. But CJ,
I thought he would make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. But CJ's like every level CJ's been at? Double A,
It takes a
single
while
A, triple
sometimes
A?
for these guys to break out. It's but it's a whole different game. They come up there and the pitching is completely different.
Yeah.
So it's it's sometimes I think that someone's going to be a star. Look at Pat Burrell, obviously, probably the greatest Cane hitter ever. Thought he was going to be like the next Pete Rose, and he never really materialized into. He was good, but he wasn't great. M. Lemon, do we get Jackson in this class?
I think he's talking about Devin Jackson, the safety from the First Academy in Orlando, Florida. So he decommitted from UF after taking a couple spring visits to Miami in April. Miami and Oregon, mainly the two battling there. I know LSU, some interest there as well, but those are the two main programs. Miami feels really good coming off the visit. They got to survive a couple of visits that he has left. He has a decision date coming up in July, from what I understand. But I haven't put a pick in yet. But I do like where Miami stands with him. I don't want to be a complete homer or whatnot, but they feel good about the situation. They don't have any safeties in the class yet or anyone that they project as a safety, but they feel good about two guys in particular, Devin Jackson and Blake Stewart, who are both just on campus.
Awesome. Good stuff. Martin, how many defensive tackles do we take this year, in your opinion, Gio?
So in terms of defensive tackles, you got one in the boat already in Tyson Bacon. They're after quite a few guys like James Johnson, Lamar Brown, Kashawn Stansel. I know they'd love to get involved with Kendall Gervil, but I've mentioned countless times that just the interest is not reciprocated there. Bryce Perry Wright is someone that they view as a defensive end, but he could play some defensive tackle, kind of similar to like a Mesdor, Bain, Armando Blunt type of prospect. I think the number you could roughly see is probably about like 3. If Miami were to manage to land a guy like Bryce Perry Wright, you could say like 3.5, a guy that could play some defensive tackle in some spots. So I think 3 is a safe number. 4, depending on what happens, but I think 3 is a safe number.
Awesome. Take a moment to Juan Manuel. Take a moment to showcase the merchandise. It's beautiful. I love this guy, Juan Manuel. Can you take a moment to
Is he on the payroll?
I think he is. Congrats. We've got the pictures in there, but we do have to get that system down. Gio is we're gonna have to work that out and look at the merchandise online and figure out a way. As soon as I get more technologically advanced, Juan Manuel,
I know a way to put it on here.
All right, so
yeah,
we'll have it for next show.
So I see a lot of questions.
You can do it this show.
I see a lot of questions about D-line. So, obviously, I would imagine they would want some sort of rotation game by game. But how many guys do you see week to week, like getting significant? I'm not talking about like 3 snaps a game. I'm talking about like how many game by game do you see 5, 6, 7? Like how many guys do you see getting significant snaps on a week to week basis, Gio?
Man, well, you'll have your obvious starters like in Mesidor and Bain. Lightfoot really came on strong throughout the spring. Like he had a really big jump from last year. There's a lot of good stuff on Booker Pickett as well. Between the stretch between spring and summer right now, we got to see once pads come on, like who's truly ready to be in that rotation. But if I had to go off the feedback and what I saw from spring, I think you could see guys like Bain, Mesidor, Malik Bryant, Marquise Lightfoot, Armando Blunt. That's already 5 right there. Cole McConaughey, he was hurt in spring, but they love him. We'll see where he fits in. I think realistically, you could see rotation of like 6 or 7 guys.
Wow.
All right.
They're very deep at that spot. Very, very deep.
Fresh bodies, I'll take it.
That's what we need, exactly, especially in the heat. What do we think
That's
about?
That's not including that Muhammad Toure will play some as a stand-up pass rusher as well. So add another guy to that rotation.
Wow.
That's awesome. And the better they play up front, the big guys, the better the linebackers are going to play. If we can protect them, especially on the run, or putting pressure on the when they're scrambling. So the defensive line, I think, is the best friend of the linebackers. Let's see. One manual question for all three in the panel. What is your most memorable sports experience with your dad? How did you become a Canes fan? What's your story? Wow, that's so beautiful.
My most memorable sports memory with my dad, it was during the Miami Heat, during their run for their first NBA championship. We had went, was it I think it was the semifinals or the conference finals. I forgot which team it was, but I remember it was game 3. I remember that experience. Went with him, another family friend as well. It was really fun time. We went to a whole bunch of Heat games. I was like, when I was like in like middle school, going to high school, those are some of my best memories. And how I became a Canes fan. Well, got family that are Canes fans, and then mostly I watched it as a child because of my brothers. But like when I truly got like I don't want to say like, yeah, I guess I would say like die hard, like super into it. Had to have been between 4th and 5th grade. And actually what really started it all, Kelly Jennings and Antrell Roll from I believe they were both on I don't know if they were on the 2001 team. I know they were on 2002. They came to my elementary, Dr. Gilbert L. Porter Elementary School in Kendall, Florida. And I got an autograph of both of them, actually. And I remember like freaking out because there was like, what, the Miami Hurricanes or whatever, because like my brothers would watch them and whatnot. So it was really interesting. So it kind of like took off from there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Those are great memories. Now, my dad was a gigantic sports fan, but he didn't push me into sports. A friend of mine got me into sports. My buddy Joel, we were collecting cards and things like that when I was probably about 7 or 8. But my dad was a Giant fan, but he was a Giant fan, actually, a New York Giant fan. I moved here when I was 6 from New York, and but the best sports moments I remember the first college game he ever took me to was the 75 or 76. I think it was the 76 Oklahoma-Michigan Orange Bowl game, which was that Oklahoma won the national championship. And I always became I liked the Canes, but I always also liked Oklahoma at that time. And being that I would go to the Orange Bowl every year from that time on, you'd see them in the Orange Bowl a lot. I'd say late Howard Schnellenberger, a friend of mine, my friend Yui Citron, was a big Canes fan. I started following them in high school more and started getting hooked on them with actually Lou Saban and Howard Schnellenberger. We'd go to the games at night. We'd see them. Otis Anderson was probably my first favorite player. And memory with my dad going to the '83 Orange Bowl and seeing them against Nebraska was awesome. That was fantastic. Great memory. Did go to a bunch of Heat games with him too. I went to games all the time, but the first big Cane game with him that I remember was the '83 championship. Was awesome. But we used to go to the games. He'd take me to Monday night games for the Dolphins from the time I was probably like 9 years old on. Every single year, because he worked days and nights. But every Monday night game the Dolphins were on, once a year they were on at that time. We'd go to the games, great times. Then we'd go to a place called Fun Fair in Miami and play games and things, even though it was 12 o'clock. So lots of great memories. My dad was a huge sports fan. I'd call him up at work. He worked at a place called Jumbo's Restaurant in Miami. And I'd say, give me the scores, give me the scores. It was a different time that I'd be watching and calling and all excited with the scores. And I probably got my love for sports betting from him too. So that was it. I called him, Dad. I remember he was so proud of me. I remember it was like in 5th grade, I had like $1 on Muhammad Ali against George Foreman. And then when the Raiders played somebody, I remember I was in 8th grade, and I said, Dad, I just won $3. He was so excited for me. He said, oh, that's awesome. So great sports memories. One thing when you share sports with your dad or your mom or whatever, but you share sports with your dad, there's nothing like it. Mando?
Yeah, that's actually obviously perfect timing for that question by Juan Manuel, being it's Father's Day weekend. Actually, to be quite frank and honest, my dad was never really a big sports guy. Like, he would take me to all my baseball games, but my grandfather, I actually sold programs with him at the Orange Bowl, and that's how I became a Canes fan. When did the Canes win their first title? Was 83, 84, or whatnot? So in about 85, I was 8. And that's when he would start taking me. So we wouldn't just do Canes games. Like, he would take me and we would do in the old school back in the Soul Bowl, like Jackson against Northwestern High School and stuff like that. But as far as the Canes, how did I become a Canes fan? Was that I started with him, and we would sell programs out there. I would help him out, and
That's awesome.
I'll never forget an 80. A lot of people talk about all the Canes teams, 2001, and rightfully so. But the team they had in '86 that lost the '87 Fiesta Bowl. I was 10-9 going on 10 years old, and when Vinny threw all those picks, I think I literally cried for like 13 hours straight when we lost the tie.
Mm-hmm. That was that team was phenomenal. Jerome Brown. I mean, that was obviously fatigues. Vinny Testaverde. We had Highsmith and Bratton, and that was phenomenal. That was an awesome team. Good time. I actually used to sell sodas at the Orange Bowl. My dad would give me $40. I'd take $20 for the tray of sodas, and then $20 for change. And you get to sell the whole time for both the Canes and the Dolphins, and then go because the Dolphins used to play there. Then come home, and every once in a while he'd let me keep the $40. And I didn't realize, I must have been that he had a good day. He won some bets. I didn't realize it at the time.
Well, I was about to say, would you use those $40 to make any wagers?
Exactly. So it's those are good times. Working in the Orange Bowl were great times. Absolutely. So I'm glad you had that moment. Yes, Juan Manuel. I'm old enough to remember the '83 championship, and that Nebraska team was considered the greatest team ever. They were the best team ever. They had Gill is the quarterback. Turner Gill is the quarterback. Mark Rozier. Speaking of Mike Rozier.
Nebraska.
And they had Irving Fryer as the wide receiver. I remember Howard Schnellenberger saying, if they have to use that play, the fumble Ruski, we got him. And they did use the fumble Ruski on us. But Bernie Kosar was phenomenal in that game. Bernie Kosar, Eddie Brown. Then Dennison, I think, was just unbelievable. Remember Jim Burt running around. But and I remember and when he went for two and missed it, and Kenny Calhoun is a great guy, a big friend of the store. When he knocked that ball away, that was awesome. We had no idea we were national champions, though, because I think we were ranked 5th or 6th going into the game, and we had other teams lost. And I think we jumped somebody. I think we jumped Auburn, and that was amazing. But it was just what a great feeling. We were up 14-0. They tied it 14-14. Then we went up 28-14. They tied it. Phenomenal game.
And as great as the Miami history is, the Ohio State loss, quote unquote, the interference, that one, the Fiesta Bowl I mentioned, where we were the much better, like even Penn State fans will tell you, we were like 10,000.
Oh, that team we dominated that game against Penn State in '86. Benny threw like 5 touchdowns. I think he just threw another one.
Alabama beat us, the George Teague one where he stripped Lamar Thomas from the ball.
Lamar hates that.
He hates that, but they kicked our ass in that game. Honestly,
everyone just talks about that play. That play.
Yeah. I was actually thinking. I was talking with somebody the other day. What's today? Friday. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It's remarkable that we never went back to back because we could have.
Yes.
It's crazy because I'm telling you, there was a 5 or 7, 8 years run where it was crazy the talent that was coming through here, man. It was crazy.
Well, they should have. They should have because Cleveland Gary didn't fumble.
No, that's another one. Notre Dame. Thank you.
Cleveland Gary definitely didn't. So '83, obviously we won. '84, that was the game we collapsed at the end. We lost like 5 games.
Well, '86 they had the best team in the country and lost.
'85 we lost. We would have won the national championship. We played Tennessee. We would have been. We returned the opening kickoff, and then Tennessee killed us. So '85 we played for the championship because we would have won. '86 we were the best team. '87 we won the championship.
Well, they won it.
'88 was. No, Cleveland Gary doesn't fumble. That was the touchdown, Jesus. Yeah. '89, we won the championship. '90, I think, I forgot. I think 90 was something that happened as well. '91, we won the championship. '92, was it '92 that we lost Nebraska with Frank Costa or something like that?
No, that was '94.
That was '94. Yeah. And obviously 2000, I think, was possibly outside.
Yes, the BCS holds us. The BCS holds us.
2001. I think 2000 was better than 2001.
Well, Jeremy Shockey said that he had friends back from Oklahoma back home, and they said that we didn't want to play you guys in 2000. You would have killed us.
Exactly. That was the game we got ripped off. They picked Florida State instead of us, even though we beat Florida State. Yep. And that we had the big linebacker Dan Morgan that year. We had Santana Moss. We had Reggie Wayne. I mean, we got Andre Johnson, but he was not as good as Moss or Wayne that year. Yeah. That team was phenomenal, and the 2000 team. and we got ripped off. We lost that game in Washington, and we should have beat them. All they had to do is hand the ball off to Clinton Portis. He ran right through him. I was screaming, "Don't play James Jackson! Hand the ball to Clinton Portis!" So
Yeah,
anyway.
you were complaining about the running game even back then.
Even back then, I was pissed off. And in '86, if we would just give the ball, Alonzo Highsmith is still running against Penn State, and Jimmy still says to this day, "I said hand the ball to Highsmith," and Vinny was like, "I'm going to throw the ball again."
I know most people only know
again.
Most people only know Highsmith as an executive and whatnot, but that guy was a hell of a football player.
Hell of a player.
That guy was
defensive
good.
He was recruited. He was a defensive tackle as well.
He was a boxer too. He was a good
boxer, but he used to. And he was the third. I think he was the third pick in the draft for the Houston Oilers at that time.
Hell of a talent.
He was a beast. We had Benny Blades back then, but just in '86, that '86 team was monstrous. And a lot of guys people say 2001, but if we don't throw 5 interceptions and still should have won that game. We played a tough schedule too that year. So,
Blue just said Louisville, Oregon State tied at 3 in the 9th. Wow!
Look at that. Louisville coming back. Let's see a few more questions. We've already gone over 2 hours. Holy mackerel!
Martin Duvet, he shared. Why are we offering more wide receivers? I thought we were zeroing in on the 2 5-stars and the 2 slots, Lopez and the Georgia commit from Cali. It's not exactly that they're just zeroing in on those guys. They have other guys that they brought on campus, and actually, one guy in particular that they're really high on that they got in for a visit this weekend is Tyron Evans, the receiver from the Carolinas. He's committed to Tennessee. Miami likes him a lot. Like I know you look at the recruiting rankings, you'll say, "Oh, but like he's only ranked like this." Internally, they think he's a hell of a prospect. They would absolutely love to flip him from Tennessee. He's someone they would absolutely take. Now, if he backs off his commitment, that's a whole other story and whatnot. But I wouldn't say so much that they're offering guys. The only recent offer is a Notre Dame player's younger brother who's actually the #1 lacrosse player in the country. I seriously doubt the kid's going to turn down the chance to play lacrosse at Notre Dame. Miami doesn't really have that in their program right now. So, but for the most part, you're right on the money though about the guys that they're on, like Tristan Keys, Calvin Russell, Van Spafford, Jason Lopez, Tyron Evans. You have other guys that are in the mix as well, but for the most part, those are the names that you just have to focus on going forward.
Awesome.
Cool.
Jake, the kids found Mando's light switch. Okay. Lights. The kids are running your house right now.
No, the twin boy fell asleep. So I came to the backyard now.
Twins. God bless you, my child. God bless you.
No, my wife just came up to me. She's like, "I'm exhausted." I'm like, "Yeah, I hear you."
All right. We're going to wrap this up soon. We could probably go 5 hours with all these questions. Let's see. Renee Prats, thanks for joining. I reposted the stream. Thank you very much. Let's see. Blue, Louisville, Oregon tied at 3. We already said that, but thanks for pointing that out to us. So that's probably where we caught it. Mando caught it from there. Martin Dube, I had a $4 bet on Muhammad Ali winning against my mom. My parents were so shocked when he beat Foreman. My mom still owes me that $4. A Coke was 5 cents at the time here in Southern Africa. That's awesome, Martin. It's $4. Wow, it was a lot back then. If it was 5 cents at that time, but so I liked Ali too. I was in 5th grade at the time, and that was an awesome fight. Let's see, didn't they Juan Manuel? Didn't they beat #1 Auburn in '84 to cement any doubt that the '83 deserved? Correct. Yes, they did beat Auburn. They did beat Michigan. Did they beat Michigan that year too? That was the come from behind year that they beat Michigan. They're way behind. We started off like gangbusters that year, and then the defense fell apart. We were giving up that was the year we lost. It was the Doug Flutie year. 84 was the Doug Flutie year. It was also the year I was getting an insurance exam to get my life insurance license at the time. I was in the class, and I saw Miami's up 30-3. We got this game, and next thing I know, we lost 31 to.
Oh my goodness!
Frank Reich beat 31-30. We went on a terrible losing streak. We lost to UCLA in a bowl game. But then Jimmy turned it around after that. People were upset that Jimmy was the coach. Actually, they were calling for him to be fired. Amazingly, at that
They
time.
were calling for him, for Butch. They wanted,
Yes.
fans, whoever it was.
Yes. But they did beat number 1, and yes, the flag did beat us at number 2. You're absolutely correct. In 2002, Juan Manuel, I can still remember celebrating to this day and excited. M. Lamone, is that Marcos Lemonis? Who knows? Maybe. Lamar Brown had to read, is he really loving Miami or trolling? It's hard to read him. What do you think, Gio?
He's not trolling. The interest is legitimate in Miami. It's a lot of things going on there. Just Texas A&M, LSU, Miami. It's going to be a bidding war there.
I was about to say a lot of money involved.
Yeah, exactly. These kids are
with those schools.
Is there any rule with the new salary, the $220.5 million, that a maximum one player can get? Did you say that before or no? Can they give the whole 20 to one kid?
If they wanted to, but then you'll have a hard time fielding an entire roster.
No, they're fielding. The teams aren't paying now, and they're fielding teams. They're fielding. They're still going to get all this NIL money, aren't they? Besides that.
Yeah, well, it depends, like, which programs have collectives and whatnot, because, like, collectives will basically be more so supplemental to the revenue share. So, good thing for Miami and some other programs, but it also levels the playing field for other programs that didn't necessarily, per se, have an NIL collective. Some programs really didn't, so.
No, that's a good thing. But you look at, like, who is it? Texas Tech or Texas A&M or Texas, they got like a $40 or $50 million roster. It's crazy.
Texas Tech has spent a lot of money this offseason.
Yeah, when I first saw their name, who was the coach I mentioned? Like, there was 7 or 8 programs. Indiana's coach, wasn't it? That he said that Miami and
every time Miami's in the news, it's like nobody cares what these other teams are making. Oh, we're paying out $100 million. But Miami, did you see what they gave this kid?
But he threw Texas Tech's name in there, and I was like, Texas Tech? But yeah, I mean, suppose, like Gio just said, Texas Tech is swimming in money right now.
Even in softball, you should see what they've done in softball.
Oh, that's true.
The amount of money that they put into softball.
They gave that pitcher. They gave $1 million.
Well, I don't know if, when you have a chance, go online or whatever. If you have friends, I have a buddy that lives in, or lived in Texas. Some of their high school stadiums and facilities look better than pro. It's crazy. It really is crazy.
Someone came in yesterday and said his friends are in Texas, big Cane fan, but he says the amount of money between oil and cattle that they have, and they just pick a school that they're going to donate all this money. The oil and cattle in Texas, and they just thought
everything's bigger in
Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Who knows? Juan Manuel, a yellow flag cost Miami back-to-back national championships. Yes, they did. It's a good shirt on that. I think Juan Manuel, Gio, your observations on wide receiver room. Who do you really like and why?
I think JoJo Trader has all the ability to become a number 1 guy this year. I think CJ Daniels could be a very solid possession wide receiver type, moving the chains. He could even play some slot receiver if really needed, but they don't exactly need that right now. I'd like to see how the slot receiver situation kind of plays out this year. You know, you bring in a vet like Tony Johnson. You have Keelan Marion, who's kind of a utility type that'll play some Z. He might play some slot. He'll obviously be a return man. Ray Joseph, we got to see, like, how does he respond to the competition coming in now, especially already having some with Malachi Toney, like, coming along really fast. If you ask me personally, I think Malachi Toney is going to take over at some point at that slot position. But again, we just got to see it all play out. Me personally, I'll put the bow on it. Ever since Kevin Beard has coached receivers at Miami, I've never been concerned about, like, what the production is that comes out. He always gets the most out of his rooms. And I'm not talking just about his tenure right now under Mario Cristobal. I'm talking about even when he was on a prior staff, he had, like, Rashawn Scott, Stacey Coley, and Herb Waters all go over 600, 700 yards apiece in one season. And Miami didn't have anywhere close to the offense that they had with Cam Ward. So Kevin Beard has always gotten the most out of his receiver groups. So I think they'll be fine.
Awesome. So, all right, excellent question there. 84 Miami was very much like 2024. You could probably say that one, Manuel. It's 84 Miami didn't achieve what they should have, even though I do believe they played over their head a little bit. And in 84 Miami seemed to be a better team, but just couldn't. At the end of the year, we just the defense couldn't stop anybody, just like Miami this year, unfortunately. Martin, Michigan come from behind was 1988. I was there, had driven from college in Canada. Wow. That was the great game. We were down big in that game.
Can you name the kicker? Come on, baby. 27. Come on, name him, Brett.
27, Gary Miller. No, not Gary Miller.
No, Carlos Huerta, baby.
Carlos Huerta, that's right, yes.
Yes, sir.
Gary Miller did take the big kick against Florida in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
But yes, Carlos Huerta, you're right. Excellent job, Mando.
So
yeah, that was an amazing game. Thanks. I like when our listeners go ahead and have the answers. Juan Manuel, doesn't NIL era sound like Miami Vice in the 80s, with the product being the 4- and 5-star recruits, with Mario and Jason, the new Crockett and Tubbs? Very interesting. Yes, this is the new Miami Vice era. There could be a shirt there, maybe something like that. Crockett and Tubbs looking like them. That's kind of funny. Blue, Oregon State with a walk-off win.
Oh, wow.
I hope you had them.
Oregon. No, actually, I've taken a little betting siesta for like 2 weeks. I'll be back.
Really?
Yeah, I've chilled. I'm getting ready for football season, to be honest with you. I'm getting ready for football season.
My dad used to say, even a train stops once in a while,
Well, the last I checked, Miami is still a 2.5-point dog to Notre Dame. So I will be hammering the money line and the
I think the Canes are going to destroy them. But
I don't know about destroy, but I like.
I don't think they'll destroy them. But
I've been wrong before, though. But I do think the Canes are going to go ahead and knock them out. In Miami, I just think the crowd is going to be overwhelming.
Yes,
Everybody should be there yelling, screaming. I mean, we're going to be packed. It's going to be awesome.
And if they had a proven quarterback on the other side, then their quarterback is not. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Our defense can play like they did against Florida in the first game last year.
Exactly.
And they played awesome. What's with Ruben Bain? Ruben Bain, do we feel like he's going to return to his freshman year capabilities? We think last year he was just still injured. He got injured in the first game, maybe out of position.
I think he will. He's healthy this offseason. He's actually dropped a little bit of weight as well. He's in really good shape right now. I think we'll see more of the Ruben Bain that we're used to. And it wasn't like he was completely ineffective last year or anything. He missed half the season. He still got the numbers up, still did his thing. So I think this year we'll see more of like what we saw his first year.
Yeah.
So you think we could see – he's going to be on the end, right?
On the end, he'll play some inside as well in certain packages.
Who do we have on the end that could be like a Jalen Phillips or a Greg Rousseau that could just totally dominate? And too bad we didn't see them play together last year.
Well, based on now what he flashed in spring, I hope this continues into the fall. But Marquise Lightfoot, as a pure pass rusher, he really opened some eyes over the spring. So
I'm looking forward to seeing him because you've been mentioning him every week, I think. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
So our defensive ends, our defensive line, when people are excited about our team, I think we always said to win like Miami did in the past, you have to dominate the line of scrimmage. And I think those are pretty much we're as solid there as anybody, our offensive line or our defensive line. Do you believe we're SEC material when they say the depth on those two parts of the team right now are as good as anybody?
Yes, except for defensive tackle. I think Miami has to continue there.
We don't want to hear that. And how have the linebackers, since Teray came, how are the linebackers looking?
Can't really go off too much because there's no like physical contact yet. But at least from like workout stuff and whatnot, they really like what they've seen from Teray. Also, Wesley DeSantis put on some size from last year as well. So we'll see how things shake out. Chase Smith It's first time ever that he's been out of the knee brace since he's been here at Miami.
Wow.
So we'll see if he can make something shake this fall.
Do we have a Dan Morgan? Dan Morgan.
I don't think there's
Barrow or anyone like that in the group.
I don't think there's a Dan Morgan.
Dan Morgan was our best defensive player ever, so that was a tough one. But we've had quite a few other good linebackers, great linebackers for that matter. Oh, yeah. John Bradley, welcome to the show. Gio, what about Kinsler? How is he looking?
Pretty good, actually. They love his development. He's been behind Francis. I get it. I know people saw this one guy that trolls from Florida Gators Twitter or whatnot. He was like, "Oh, Miami hasn't developed Kinsler." I mean, what do you expect? I saw that tweet. The guy that's in front of Kinsler right now was literally a freshman All-American, and he's a future top 10 pick. Like, what do you expect? all right, yeah, come on, Kinsler, let's throw you in. Even though we got this guy in front of you, we're just gonna play you anyways, right? There's levels to it. Sometimes there's different scenarios that play out. I also want to remind people. I always bring this up in terms of like offensive linemen. I'm not saying that this applies to every single player that's been here like 3 years or so or whatever, but people forget this. Vernon Carey Sr., when he was coming out of Miami Northwestern, he was the #1 offensive lineman in the country.
Yep.
Guess what? He didn't become a starter at Miami until he was a red shirt junior. Offensive line is big time developmental position. I think if Miami was more established on the offensive line, I think a guy like Francis might have had to wait like a year or 2 years if they had better guys already in place. Or a guy like Inez Cooper probably wouldn't have played as much right out the gate when he got here. But it was out of necessity that it had to happen. So we'll see.
Going back to the back-to-back, Renee Pratz on X said, true. We had a chance at one of the times we had a chance at 3 in a row was when we should have played Oklahoma that year in 2000. Obviously, 2001 we beat Nebraska, and then 2002 we lost Ohio State. We didn't lose.
No,
we got the game taken away.
And that's why I say we could have easily won 2, 3. Who knows?
We could have won 3 in a row then, and we could have won 3 again. 87, 86, 87, 88, 89. That was 4 in a row. Because from 83 to 93, we played in the national championship almost a chance at the national championship almost every single year.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. Let's see, just a couple quick questions. Gio is probably falling asleep, so is Mando. Mando 5. Hey, speaking of those DTs, Dante Simpson and Jones, any confidence?
They love what they saw out of Dante Simpson over the spring. He's ahead of the curve for a true freshman. In terms of, Simpson will factor in somewhere in that rotation this year. I don't expect him to be a starter type or anything, but he'll get some reps. When it comes to Jones, he was a little nicked up at the beginning of spring, came back later on. I know they're optimistic that maybe he makes a jump from spring to now. We'll have to see when fall camp opens at the end of July. But again, I think things get dicey after your top 3 guys at defensive tackle. You got to find some way to keep them healthy as much as possible between Justin Scott, between David Blay, Ahmad Moten. You got to find some way to keep them healthy as much as possible. I think Armando Blunt is a guy this year that, although he's a defensive end, he still has the capability of playing inside some when needed. I think he could help Miami a lot with their problems at defensive tackle in terms of depth this year, if he can give you some really solid reps at that spot in certain situations.
If you had to pick 2 guys that you think are going to stand out this year that not everybody is talking about, it sounds like offense and defense. It sounds like JoJo Trader and Armando Blunt are 2 guys you're thinking.
Yeah, I could see those guys for sure.
Mando, you got 2.
Xavier Lucas as well. Xavier Lucas is going to be an eye opener for people.
All right, we hope so. Mando, you got 2 guys just right now that you think you're looking forward to see this year that are going to surprise people.
I mean, I wouldn't say surprise, but we're talking about. I don't know. Gio just mentioned Trader. I think our tight end is going to get a ton of targets, if not I don't think he'll be the number one guy in targets, but maybe two. I mean, you mentioned yourself in Georgia when he had, and granted, he's probably the best tight end in football right now in NFL. But I think our tight end, and Gio mentioned Justin Scott recently. I mean, I've been asking for a defensive tackle for like 10, 15 years. Like, I don't mean just any player. Okay, he's a 4-star, a 5-star, a 1-star. A guy that when that ball snapped, yo, damn, this guy's in the backfield already? Like
Jerome Brown, Cortez
player,
Kennedy, Russell Merland.
Something
those
like
guys.
that. How long has it been? I mean, I want something like that. That's what I want to see in defensive tackle.
We were DTU, defensive tackle U. You're right. We need that. And well, hopefully, Armando, each time we go, we're just going to call. When they get there, as soon as the ball, I'm just naming that on X. I'm going to say, and there he goes with Armando. He pulls Armando. He pulls Mando. I think two newcomers I'm excited to see that I think are going to newcomers. I know is Carson Beck. I think it's going to be better than people think, and Zachariah Poyser is going to be another guy that I'm excited to see. You know, Zachariah used to come to the store when he was a little kid and be shopping with his godmother and all that. I didn't know that until she told me that a few months ago. Oh yes, he used to come all the time here. Which is kind of funny. But I think if those two guys have great seasons, the Canes are going to have an unbelievable year. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for joining the show. We're going to be leaving in a few minutes, so thanks for getting in before the show ended. Juan Manuel, can they try Jaden Wilkins at defensive tackle?
Jaden Wilkerson, I doubt it. I think he'll stay at offensive tackle.
I hope so. Okay, he'll stay there. Anthony with CJ and Bryce Fitzgerald. I don't know what about him, but he's throwing those names out there.
Yeah. He mentioned here, we've been wanting a space eater defensive tackle the past 3 years. I like Justin Scott and Armando, but they're not that. They are 3 technique. Yeah, Armando is a 3 technique. Justin Scott can play some nose if needed, but more so 3 technique, a guy that you want to get upfield after the quarterback and whatnot. I agree.
All right. And last question of the day. Gio, you're hearing anything for baseball? Canes, Cats, and Heat.
So I answered that earlier.
3 hours ago. But you're going to answer it again.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything imminent at this moment in terms of like any other transfers for baseball. But like I mentioned earlier, baseball, the info comes like very few and far between. It's not as frequent as like football and then basketball.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all right, guys. Thank you for joining the show, the CanesWear podcast, brought to you by CanesWear. An awesome show today. I know probably several thousand people watched today because I can see it on X and other places, and that's awesome. So thank you for joining. Remember to like and subscribe to the FTSN Network. Bobby and the team do a great job on that. Lots of different sports talk. We're going to be doing some other things as well. Gio, just give me Anthony one more time here. Any updates on J-Rock?
J-Rock, is he talking about – I'm not sure who he's talking about.
All right, we got him stumped. Stump Gio, we did it on the last question of the day. if you know,
it might just be because I'm tired.
Hey, Brett, this guy's a fraud. I'm telling you, he doesn't know.
I tell you, it's like
Jason Lopez. Yeah, no, I mentioned it earlier. Miami likes him. I think just 2 programs to watch. There's NC State and West Virginia because of the aspect of potentially playing basketball and football. Miami is looking at him in basketball. No official offer yet. Jay Lucas knows who he is. He scouted him a bit. So it's more so wait and see. He'll be on campus next weekend. So I'll wait for the feedback to come on that. We'll see how things play out.
Awesome. Gio, do you have a winner today? Anyone to pick?
I do, actually.
Oh, wow, Gio's on top of it. He's excited now, Mando.
I like the winner.
Money.
I like the winner to be today, Canes Jones.
Hey.
Canes Jones, the winner. So Canes Jones, if you're still on board right now, please go ahead and send a message to either Mando, myself, or Gio at any of our X accounts, or any of our X accounts is great, or hit anybody up if you know them on text, or if you want, you can send an email to Brett at CanesWear.com as well. And we'll get a $25 gift card from CanesWear coming. Anyone that we missed, please feel free to hit us up again and let us know. I think we got most people covered. Mando, where can everybody find you?
Well, my X on X, I'm always on there at Lakers Canes 305. And I wanted to say to both of you guys and everybody watching and listening, I shared the story earlier about my grandfather and the programs. Wish he was still here. So if your father's still around, give him a call, have a meal with them. Happy Father's Day to both of you, more importantly than everything we talk about, and enjoy the weekend and have a great, great Father's Day weekend.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
Jake's
You as
wishing
well.
everybody happy Father's Day. Thank you very much, Mando. Gio, tell them the places you're not going to be. Tell them where you're going to be, Gio. How to find you.
Well, you can find me on X at GeoMillion. Also on YouTube, I have a weekly show. Me and Amon Richards, we do Who Wants Smoke. Originally, we were going to record earlier this week. We had to push to this weekend. Had some things that we had to reschedule. But me and Amon will be on tomorrow, somewhere between like 11 or 12. 11 in the morning, 12 afternoon if it's around there. But somewhere around there, we'll be on tomorrow live. So plenty of stuff there. Some feedback I'm getting on the official visitors this weekend and whatnot. So a lot of good stuff. Great things going on for Miami. And happy Father's Day to everyone. Hope everyone has a great weekend. I will with my kids Sunday, all three of my boys and my wife, my family.
Awesome. So first off, happy Father's Day to you guys. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I agree with Mando. My dad and I were very close. I would talk to him every day on the phone. I did lose him 5 years ago. I was blessed to have him for so long, but we go to the track every week. We still got to do things, talk to him every single day. So make sure if you haven't spoke to someone in a while, make sure if you can reach out to them. I always say the person with the least amount of regrets is the big winner at the end. So stay in touch with those that you love. Happy Father's Day. You can see CanesWear, Canes_Word on X, or CanesWear on Twitter, on Instagram. Brett Mitchell on Facebook, or CanesWear on Facebook. So we're pretty much all over. This weekend, we're doing a special starting tonight at midnight, 25% off all Canes apparel, merchandise, footwear. So if you need any last minute Father's Day gifts or just something for yourself. And of course, the Florida Panthers is our other team, and we are excited about them. They're 2-2 right now, and they play tomorrow in Edmonton. So they're traveling like 8,000 miles across the country to go to Edmonton. So everybody be safe. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Be safe. Thank you for being a great part of our Canes family. Like and subscribe FTSN Network with Bobby, and I guess that's about it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Have a good weekend.